The Emperor of Work begins with Conan. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 1. You call this assassination? Tokyo. Bikacho. Aoyama Financial Group Co. Limited office building. The sun was setting, and it was a good time to get off work. A group of office workers filed out of the building, and the guards at the entrance of the building were also waiting for their colleagues to take over with a smile. Suddenly, a young man who was swimming against the current in the crowd attracted the attention of the guard. "Hey, what are you doing?" The guard suddenly became nervous and subconsciously put his hand on his waist. On the waist of these guards was a pistol that ordinary people in Tokyo rarely see. The young man looked focused, as if he didn't hear the guard's question, and walked against the crowd with one mind. The office workers around also complained about the young man's behavior. At this time, a guard finally approached the young man with difficulty. Just when he was about to take out his gun to warn the young man to stop immediately, the young man who was walking attentively suddenly made a move. The young man pulled out his pistol much faster than the guard and decisively shot the guard in the chest with 2 shots. The guard fell to the ground in response, and then the young man shot him in the head. 2 shots to the chest, and 1 to the head. Even the god of hell would be worried. With the sound of gunfire, the office workers in the hall suddenly became chaotic. The young man who had just killed a guard took advantage of the chaos to rush into the crowded crowd, like a flexible fish constantly shuttling through the crowd. For a moment, the guards who lost their target were killed by the young man in the crowd. Some were shot with a pistol, some had their throats cut by bare hands, and one was even killed by ****king pencil. In this way, the young man killed all the way from the 1st floor of the building to the 7th floor. After using a plastic bomb to blow open the closed door, he finally saw his target on the top floor of the building. Without any extra nonsense, the young man raised his gun and pointed it at the target's head to help him open his mind. With the death of the target, the whole world suddenly fell into darkness. Zzzz papa, accompanied by the sound of a current flowing, the whole space was lit up. The previous building, guards, office workers and targets all disappeared, leaving only an empty space and a pile of expensive looking equipment. These advanced looking devices are very out of place in Tokyo, where even mobile phones are considered new gadgets. If nothing unexpected happens, he should be the best newcomer in our training department. On the highest observation platform in the entire underground space, Conan, who is usually taciturn, rarely spoke before Chianti. Chianti was still nervous and irritable, but now the face of this mentally ill woman was more helpless and irritable. The best newcomer. Conan, you are mentally ill. It is hard to imagine that Chianti would say that someone else's brain is wrong one day. This is obviously the site of the sniper test. Look at what this guy did. Is it reasonable? Reasonable. Reasonable. But you have to admit that the test just now looked great, Conan said with a blank expression while praising the young man. That's because the attacks in the test site have no entity, otherwise he would have been shot to death long ago. Chianti always felt that the young man had some problems with his brain. It was a task that could be completed with a sniper rifle. Why did he do this? If this happened in reality, he might not even be able to pass the organization's first mission. Chianti, a paper man, finds it difficult to understand Yuan Shenfei's behavior, but if it were put in the hands of modern netizens, they would definitely smile in tacit understanding. Whether this thing is strong or not is a matter of one version, but whether it is handsome or not is a matter of a lifetime. Which man in this world can refuse this kind of unparalleled assassination that leaves no trace? As long as I kill all the witnesses, it will be the most perfect stealth assassination. Just tell me if it is a stealth. After finishing the final test, Yuan Shenfei came to Chianti and Conan with a smile. Facing Chianti's questioning, he shrugged lightly. In fact, I didn't intend to act so blatantly. You can ask Conan for confirmation. Chianti immediately turned his head and looked at the silent Conan. When did you, a man with thick eyebrows and big eyes, have a little secret behind my back? We promised to be good partners for life. Facing his partner's condemning eyes, Conan nodded slowly. Yes, He did intend to sniper the target from a long distance at first, but I refused. Facing Chianti's eyes that said you seem to have some serious illness, Cohen continued. He prepared mortars, RPGs and heavy machine guns at the time. Because our training base may not be able to withstand this kind of firepower coverage, I asked him to change the way to test it. Heavy machine guns, mortars and RPG. Chianti looked at Yuan Shenfei absurdly. At this moment, she even felt that she could be called a normal person. Do you know what sniping is? Do you know it or not? Facing Chianti's hysteria, Yuan Shenfei showed a caring smile for the mentally retarded. Of course, there are sniper scopes, single shots, and one shot per second. Maybe heavy machine guns and mortars are not so appropriate, but I think RPGs are quite in line with these conditions. Chianti suddenly figured it out. You can never argue with a psychopath, so she waved to Toyama Tobi with a dull look. Okay, you have passed the final test. Now you can go to report to Jin. Jin is not as easy to talk to as us. Don't die in your first mission. After Chianti finished speaking, he turned and left the test site. Cohen did not mean to say hello to Toyama Tobi. He returned to his original taciturn personality and walked out without saying a word. Soon, a member of the organization came to the test site and took Toyama Tobi away. After sending him to the door of a room in the base, he turned around and left. Hey, friend, don't you want to come in with me? Looking at the hurried back of the organization member, Toyama Tobi showed a malicious smile and shouted at the back. Hearing Toyama Tobi's call, the organization member who sent him here not only did not stop, but left even faster. Even after turning a corner, Toyama Tobi heard a series of running sounds. Withdrawing his gaze, Toyama Tobi pushed open the door in front of him. Looking at the familiar fat and thin combination inside, he showed the most sincere smile. What an enviable pressure, Jin. Lord. System prompt. You have completed the task of passing the advanced assessment of organization members issued by your boss Jin. Get reward. Detailed explanation of stealth backstab. Jin edition. This. As the reward arrived, Toyama Tobi suddenly felt that his hands were itchy and he wanted to find a stick and quietly hit something. Kudo-san, is your soul showing up? Chapter 2. I took the civil service exam before I traveled through time, and I took the civil service exam again after I traveled through time. Didn't I travel through time in vain? There are many ways to get along with Jin and the organization. Some people just follow their big brother and drive. Some people flirt with him and ask him to make drinks together when they meet. And some people are nervous and wait for Jin to give them tasks to cosplay Kennedy. But there is only one person like Toyama Tobi who is so naughty. So it is obvious that Toyama Tobi is a standard time traveler. Before traveling through time, Toyama Tobi was one of the many people who took the civil service exam. He missed the opportunity to be a fresh graduate and could only be swept in the endless exam. Toyama Tobi, who failed the exam many times, suddenly saw a pop-up window on his mobile phone one day. Do you want to understand the meaning of life? Do you want to live truly? Yes or no? What kind of development is this? This is the development of the infinite flow. At this moment, all the protagonists of the infinite heavens are standing behind Toyama Tobi. To be honest, a large part of the reason why Toyama Tobi failed the civil service exam is that he probably spends more time reading novels and studying every day. Being a daily exam king cannot guarantee success, let alone Toyama Tobi, who is half-hearted. If Toyama Tobi can successfully land, it will be a big sand in the National Civil Service team. Fortunately, the organization has a sharp vision. Toyama Tobi was immediately excited when he saw this option. He had had enough of his boring life. Now it was time for him to change his fate. So Toyama Tobi decisively chose, or, between, yes and no. Good news, even if you press, or, you can still travel through time. Bad news, after pressing, or, you will be in a different body, without the memory of your original body, without an identity, and become an illegal resident. Good news, you have traveled through time to Japan. Toyama Tobi learned Japanese to understand the plot of the movie, and not to ask for help. You have no problem communicating with people. Bad news, this is the world of Detective Conan, which focuses on the uncertainty of life and death. In this way, good news and bad news cycled in Toyama Tobi's mind, and finally he realized one thing. He is now penniless. Toyama Tobi, who traveled through time, only wears one set of clothes, and nothing else. Of course, even if he brought other things, it would be useless, because the Japanese couldn't use VX and ZFB. It must be said that Toyama Tobi, who was selected as a time traveler, still had something on him. After figuring out the world he was in, Toyama Tobi immediately found himself a place with food and accommodation and even a good salary, the Black Organization. The unit is a good unit, but the employee loss rate is a bit high. The old member who recruited Toyama Tobi almost exposed his identity because of the failure of the mission and was targeted by Jin to eliminate him. As the legacy of that unlucky guy, Toyama Tobi was divided into Jin's name. Then Jin assigned him a task to pass the organization member advancement assessment. If you complete it, you can live and get a salary increase, and if you fail to complete it, you will die. Of course, you can also be a lab guinea pig. The organization still has a lot of career options for its members. As a time traveler, Toyama Tobi naturally has his own system. Although the name of this system, called Working Emperor Online Job Search, is not serious, it allows Toyama Tobi to get the wool from his direct leader. For example, after Toyama Tobi was assigned to Jin, he received a reward called Ace Potential. This is also the main reason why Toyama Tobi, an ordinary person, can successfully pass the organization's member advancement assessment. The Black Organization's division of its members is actually not complicated. Let's not talk about the scientific research line for now, just talk about the action line. Those who are recruited into the organization are peripheral members, providing food and accommodation without 5 insurances, and 1 housing fund, and training simple tasks are not difficult. The main role is to be cannon fodder that can be sacrificed at any time. Then there are ordinary members. If you want to become an ordinary member, you must pass the organization's member advancement assessment. You need to receive professional training in a short period of time, and pass the test to be promoted. Ordinary members go up to get their own code names, and at this point they can be regarded as middle-level leaders of the organization. Toyama Tobi has not thought about going up yet. What he needs to do now is the most primitive capital accumulation. He needs to quickly improve his strength, whether it is mental or physical strength. This means that Toyama Tobi needs more direct leaders. I'm sorry, Lord Jin, I can't give up a whole forest for you. However, just when Toyama Tobi was thinking about how to do a part-time job with a smile on his face, Jin suddenly brought him a good news like a bolt from the blue. Rum needs a new face to perform an undercover mission, and you are just right. From now on, you will be jointly managed by me and Rum. Ah, what is a good big brother? This is a good big brother. It can be said that he is a timely rain for ice flowers, and Tokyo's call for justice. Whatever you want will come true. If you want a part-time job, the big brother will find a new boss for you. If you want a reward, the big brother will give you 2 at once. Toyama Tobi secretly swore in his heart that from today on, Jin is his beloved relative, brother. At least he has to increase the salary. It seems that Toyama Tobi is a little hesitant, and Jin said to Toyama Tobi indifferently, "This is the decision of the organization. Do you understand?" "I understand, brother Jin." Toyama Tobi nodded vigorously, and he was willing to be called big brother. Vodka, who was standing behind Jin, saw that Toyama Tobi was so sensible, and nodded with satisfaction in his heart. Although this kid superior is an idiot, this guy is still very perceptive. Of course, a good driver will not talk too much in front of his leader. He just looked at Toyama Tobi with a kinda look. Unfortunately, this kind look was completely covered by sunglasses, and Toyama Tobi didn't see anything. After the order was issued, Jin simply left. Before leaving, he threw a mobile phone to Toyama Tobi, which was a keypad phone that could send and receive emails. Rum will contact you via email. Remember to reply in time, otherwise you know the consequences. Toyama Tobi nodded. Compared with his girlfriends before crossing, brother Jin was much more extreme. In the previous life, if he didn't reply to his girlfriend's calls and messages, at most he would be called by a series of fatal calls. When it came to Jin, all that was left was a fatal call. Toyama Tobi, who didn't want to die for some strange reasons, stared at the phone in his hand. Soon an email was sent to his mailbox. The sender was Rum. The organization needs to have its own people in the Metropolitan Police Department. Your task is to pass the National Civil Service exam. The organization will arrange for you to serve in the criminal division. Time is money. There is still half a year before the exam. Hurry. Rum, wait. There seems to be something dirty in the phone. Get out of my phone. Yuan Shenfei's face was very bad. He didn't even have time to look at the reward that Rum brought him. This task alone made Yuan Shenfei feel cold in his heart. It hurts. It hurts too much. I had to take the civil service exam before I traveled through time. I still have to take it after I traveled through time. Exclamation mark. Then didn't I travel through time in vain? Besides, the reward that Jin gave himself was ace potential, not his fucking skolking. This thing is not suitable for his major! Exclamation mark. Chapter 3. Are you qualified to be a detective? Yuan Shenfei immediately prepared to sternly reject Rum's unreasonable task arrangement. But he stopped before he started. His current situation is completely different from that of his previous life. In his previous life, the post-zeros were rectifying the workplace. He had no mortgage or car loan, and he was full of energy and passion, right after graduating from school. He was not married, had no wife or children, did not have to support his family, and even had some subsidies from his family every month. Of course, he could rectify the workplace unscrupulously. If you don't want me here, I will find another place to go. There is no place where people are not buried in the yellow earth. But Yuan Shenfei couldn't do that. Not to mention that he is just an ordinary member who has just passed the organization's advanced assessment. Even if he got a code name, could he refuse Rum's task? Rum is the second in command of the organization. Karasuma and I didn't show up or send an email, but he was the biggest one. Didn't you see that Rum asked Jin to find a new face and Jin sent him out? If he just said I won't do it, Toyama Tobi would probably come to his door with a gun in 5 minutes. And then he would cosplay himself as Melody. No way, no way, this is impossible. As for listening to Rum's arrangement and obediently taking the National Civil Service exam, that's even more ridiculous. If Toyama Tobi had this brain, would he have to cross over to the point where he needed to? Ask those people who have families and jobs, and don't use Ferraris or Porsches but drive BBAs, would they be willing to cross over? Most people are not willing. It is not possible to take the exam, but not taking the exam can easily put their lives in danger. Toyama Tobi held the phone in his hand and his eyes rolled, and suddenly a plan came to his mind. Got it. Prepare it immediately. But now there is a small problem. Toyama Tobi, what's the problem? Lord Rum, I'm an illegal resident. If I want to take the National Civil Service exam, I need a legal identity. I hope the organization can solve it first. Toyama Tobi. Rum, when I type a question mark, it doesn't mean that I have a problem, but that I think you have a problem. Rum's head is buzzing now. He asked Jin to find him an unfamiliar face so that he can throw sand in the Metropolitan Police Department. But he doesn't have to be so unfamiliar! Exclamation mark. He doesn't even have an identity, so how can he be an undercover? For a moment, Rum even thought that Jin wanted to get him. In fact, this is where I'm wrong, big brother Jin. Jin is not really the director of the organization. How could he know that Toyama Tobi is an illegal immigrant? Rum asked him to find an unfamiliar face, and Toyama Tobi was the most suitable one. He didn't expect Toyama Tobi to be a little too unfamiliar. After a question mark, Rum didn't send an email for a long time. Toyama Tobi saw that this was not going to work. All his rewards depended on the cultivation of these big brothers. How could he let big brother Rum return empty-handed? So Toyama Tobi used his clever brain to come up with an idea. Sir, although I have no identity, I now have an idea. Toyama Tobi. Tell me about it. Rum, it's like this, sir. I'm an illegal resident. Even if I get an identity, I can't stand scrutiny and detailed investigation. This may be a disadvantage for joining the Metropolitan Police Department. But I think I can definitely become a detective. Then I can work in depth with the Metropolitan Police Department as a detective, and it would be best if I could be hired as a consultant. This will also achieve the goal of joining the Metropolitan Police Department. What do you think? Toyama Tobi, that's a good idea. Let me ask you, When you were in the organization's base, did any murder happen around you? Rum no. Toyama Tobi then, when you occasionally go out, have you ever encountered a corpse falling from the sky? Rum no. Toyama Tobi before you joined the organization, have you ever been a guest at someone's house and suddenly the host or the guest was killed or committed suicide? Rum no. Toyama Tobi then it seems that you don't have the talent to become a famous detective. Rum what do you mean? What do you mean? He looks down on me. He looks down on me. Toyama Tobi's back teeth creaked. If you can't do it, you don't deserve to be a famous detective. If you kill people wherever you go, right? You have to be like a plague god to be a detective, right? How can you, Rum, with thick eyebrows and big eyes, and missing one eye, discriminate against normal people? Exclamation mark. He was so angry. Toyama Tobi felt 1,000 kinds of resentment and anger in his heart, but when the words came to his lips, they turned into a helpless sigh. Oh, damn. There's nothing wrong with what Rum said. Looking at the 20-year history of Detective Conan, which detective is not full of blood smell? Even the son of the chief of the Osaka Prefectural Police Headquarters and the superintendent of the Tokyo Metropolitan Police Department is the same. The theory of the famous detective god of plague is deeply rooted in people's hearts, and even Rum is not immune to it. But Toyama Tobi still wants to try. He can't let this direct leader fly like that. In that case, I can also be an informant for the police. As long as I'm familiar with the police, I should be able to get some inside information occasionally, right? Toyama Tobi, this idea sounds good. Your identity organization will help you. Do it according to your idea. Contact me at any time if there is any progress. When Rum heard that Toyama Tobi was not going to be a detective but an informant, he agreed without hesitation. He even helped Toyama Tobi solve the most troublesome identity problem. What do you mean? What do you mean? Exclamation mark. Do you look down on me like this? Do you understand what it means to be in trouble for a long time? Exclamation mark. I, Toyama Tobi, am also a man who has seen the divorce. Sulking is useless. Toyama Tobi decided to let Rum see the breadth and depth of Kidian.com. Work hard quietly and then surprise this old deng. From now on, Jin is still the big brother and Rum will be his second. Of course, Toyama Tobi seems to have found a more convenient way to accumulate rewards by accident. Come to think of it, the police should be considered the direct superiors of the informant, right? Dear police officers, let me, Toyama Tobi, see who I should visit first. Do you need me to send you another newcomer? Jin, forget it. He's just a spare piece. There's no need to force it. Besides, we already have our people inside the Metropolitan Police Department. Rum, by the way, the person you recommended is very interesting. A guy with a strong desire to show off. I didn't expect that you, who are usually cold, would have such a lively subordinate. Rum, he's just a peripheral member with some talent and luck, and he hasn't been screened as an undercover. But this desire to show off reminds me of an annoying guy. Jin, he can't be from the FBI. Those people won't use such crude means. But the undercover screening also needs to be done, so let me arrange it. Rum. Chapter 4, One-Eyed Detective, Trey. Anyway, with Yuan Shenfei's efforts, Rum finally gave up the idea of continuing to swim in the sea of books and questions after crossing. And Yuan Shenfei finally had time to see what kind of natural gift his dear second brother Rum had given him. System prompt. You have obtained a new direct leader, Rum. System prompt. You received the entry reward from your direct leader One-Eyed Detective, Trey. With this tray, your insight is greatly enhanced, and you can easily find some details and information that ordinary people can hardly find. With this tray, your thinking logic is greatly enhanced, and you can easily connect some seemingly unrelated things together. With this tray, your memory is greatly improved. With this tray, your calculation ability is greatly improved. Warning: with this tray, when you fight with a hostile target, the target will involuntarily attack your left eye. Please protect it. My second brother Rum is awesome. Yuan Shenfei counted the trays given by Rum's entry gift package, and the whole person was surprised. Just one tray brings 4 bonus attributes to Yuan Shenfei. Of course, the last warning cannot be ignored. If it is just a simple bare-handed fight, then the worst that can happen, if someone attacks your left eye, is that you will have a half panda black eye. But what if the enemy is holding a knife? maybe you will really become a one-eyed dragon like Rum. The most fatal is the enemy with a gun. It is obviously not easy to shoot the left eye with a gun, especially when shooting while moving. But once you are hit, it is not just the eye that is gone, but the whole person is gone. Overall, this trait is a mixed blessing, but it is a great enhancement for Yuan Shenfei now. And what is this trait called? People call it a one-eyed detective. Is the point one-eyed? The point is obviously a detective. I didn't expect that. Although Rum's second brother said no, the reward was still very honest. Yuan Shenfei decided not to disappoint Rum's second brother's silent expectations of him, and he had to make a resounding name in the detective industry. It doesn't matter what happens after 30 years. After all, Yuan Shenfei is just jealous of the reward from his second brother, Rum. Rum's reward has been received, and the task from the second in command of the organization has been issued. Yuan Shenfei can't continue to slack off in the base. At least let the new boss see his enthusiasm for work. So Yuan Shenfei found the logistics of the base and got his driver's license from there. According to the logistics department, his identity is being processed, but this driver's license is real, but the information has not been added to the database of the relevant department in time. Yuan Shenfei can leave with a driver's license first, and the logistics department will completely handle his identity in a few days. In addition to the driver's license, Yuan Shenfei also got his salary, since he joined the company, in the form of cash. This money is enough for Yuan Shenfei to live a chic life in Tokyo for a month. Note that it is a chic life, not a life. Life is about firewood, rice, oil, salt, sauce, vinegar, and tea, while a chic life is about spending money and living a life of luxury, provided that the body can bear it. In Tokyo, working for more than 2 months can make you free for a whole month, which shows how high the salary level of the organization is. But it is also true that once you join the organization, you will do life-threatening work. If you are paid according to the salary of office workers, who can do it? When Toyama Tobi left the base, the sky outside was already red. He needed to find a place to stay first, and then figure out how far the plot of Detective Conan has progressed. It is well known that the timeline of Detective Conan is extremely confusing, and it is completely useless to specify the year, month, and day. What Toyama Tobi needs is a specific plot node. For example, in the newspaper, is the famous detective in Tokyo now Shinichi Kudo or Kagoro Maori? If it is Kagoro Maori, then whether Habura AI has escaped. Toyama Tobi guessed that Habura AI is likely to have not escaped from the organization, although Jin has always been cold. But as a working emperor who is determined to become a gold medal worker, Toyama Tobi can still judge the mood of this cheap big brother from the air pressure around Jin. Brother Jin has been in a good mood recently. It is obvious that Habura AI, as a scientist, is still under the control of the organization. Toyama Tobi took a taxi to the Beaker Hotel, which is a classic venue in Detective Conan. With a pilgrimage mood, Toyama Tobi asked for a suite. After moving in, Toyama Tobi threw himself heavily into the soft bed. For more than 2 months, Toyama Tobi was either training or on the way to the training ground. From an ordinary person who knew nothing, he should be considered a qualified killer now. Although he has the characteristics rewarded by Brother Jin as his own talent to improve rapidly, Toyama Tobi has to do both learning and practicing by himself. There is obviously no shortcut to shouting that the system adds points and then the strength increases. However, the system boss can provide talents against the sky. What else can be asked for? Toyama Tobi, who relaxed on the bed for a while, got up and prepared to have a meal in the hotel restaurant. Then go to the streets of Beaker. The most important prerequisite for becoming an informant for the police is to at least know a policeman. He ran to the police and said, "I want to be your informant." It would be strange if they didn't send Yuan Shenfei to a mental hospital. When he arrived at the hotel restaurant, Yuan Shenfei picked and chose a few hotel specialties. After ordering a beer, he leaned back in his chair, holding the glass and looking at the scenery outside the window in a trance. Suddenly, he felt a strong sense of being watched, as if someone was staring at him undisguisedly behind him. Yuan Shenfei calmly put the glass on the table and then turned his head nonchalantly. He happened to meet the eyes of a little girl. The little girl was a serious little girl who looked like a little girl of 9 or 10 years old. Whether it was her clothes or her makeup, she looked like a rich Lolita. The strange thing was that this rich Lolita was eating alone in the restaurant. Where are the adults in their family? Yuan Shenfei was a little curious. If he had such a lovely daughter, he would be afraid that she would melt if he held her in his mouth, and afraid that she would fall if he held her in his hands. How could the adults in this family be so careless as to let the child come to the restaurant to eat alone? The little girl blushed when she realized she was caught peeking at the handsome uncle. She lowered her head and tried to eat the little food left on the plate. Yuan Shenfei also smiled and retracted her gaze and took a big sip of beer with the snacks that had just been served. What a precocious little girl, isn't she? Chapter 5. Simple Folk Customs. Bihua Town. Toyama Tobi enjoyed the first paid dinner in the Detective Conan world. It was delicious. The main reason was that the nutritious meal provided by the winery base to the trainees was really hard to describe. As for the nutritious meal, that thing can definitely guarantee the daily nutrition required by the trainees, but there are always trade-offs. Besides, it is just a training assessment for the advancement of peripheral members to ordinary members, and the members of the organization who prepare the nutritious meal don't need to be too careful. Anyway, whether it is a peripheral member or an ordinary member, they all belong to the bottom of the organization. Toyama Tobi can still be stronger now. After all, he is directly led by Gin and Rum, and his treatment is much better than other ordinary members. Of course, the danger has also increased greatly, which is a combination of pros and cons. After slurping the last mouthful of noodles in the bowl, Toyama Tobi took a sip of the noodle soup. This is called original soup and original food. Picking up a napkin to wipe his mouth, Toyama Tobi prepared to return to the room to plan how to encounter the police officers of the Metropolitan Police Department. If you want to become an informant for the police, you must first have your own personality. This character cannot be too noble and righteous, otherwise what will happen if the police officers of the Metropolitan Police Department only talk about dedication and not about compensation? How can you work at your own expense? Secondly, the impression left on the police officers cannot be too bad. If the first impression is not good, the police officers of the Metropolitan Police Department will not choose Yuan Shenfei as an informant. Yuan Shenfei needs to carefully grasp the scale between the two. Just before Yuan Shenfei was about to leave the restaurant and return to the room, he accidentally turned back and glanced in the direction of the little girl who had just peeked at him. This glance made his brows frown. The little girl who was originally sitting alone at the table eating suddenly had a man next to her. The man was smiling and saying something to the little girl, and the little girl's expression was also doubtful. Finally, the little girl seemed to believe what the man said and stood up with the man to leave the restaurant. Is this the little girl's family? Yuan Shenfei immediately dispelled this unreliable guess. Not to mention that the little girl has no similarities with this man. Just from the appearance and clothing, the two people are also very mismatched. The man was wearing overalls, sneakers, a blue long-sleeved shirt and a dark jacket. Although the combination looked fine, Toyama Tobi had not escaped his eyes. The little girl looked like a child from a wealthy family. If the man was the little girl's father, he might not be dressed very gorgeously, but at least his clothes should be clean. The second thing was the smile the man had when he first spoke to the little girl. The lower eyelids were raised, the facial muscles contracted, and the corners of his mouth were raised with a grin. This was a standard fake smile, or a fake smile. When the little girl decided to leave with the man's orbicularis oculi contracted, making his eyes smaller, wrinkles formed at the corners of his eyes, and his eyebrows tilted slightly. This was a real smile. Based on the man's performance and the simple folk customs of Bihua Town, Toyama Tobi suddenly had a guess in his mind. Could this guy be here to kidnap the little girl? The man and the little girl passed by Toyama Tobi, and the little girl turned around and gave Toyama Tobi a sweet smile. Looking at the backs of the two people going away, Toyama Tobi decided to follow them to see. Plans can't keep up with changes. If this is really a kidnapping case, Toyama Tobi might get the opportunity to get to know the police officers of the Metropolitan Police Department's Investigation Division. So Toyama Tobi followed quietly. Thanks again to Brother Jin for his gift. Although Toyama Tobi has only received the most basic tracking and anti-tracking training in the organization, But Brother Jin's detailed explanation of stealth backstab has greatly improved Toyama Tobi's hiding ability. The man who took the little girl to the underground parking lot didn't even notice that there was a tail behind him at this moment. After arriving at the underground garage, the little girl suddenly realized that the man in front of her didn't seem to be sent by her father to pick her up. She was about to run away. Unfortunately, the man was prepared and grabbed the little girl's collar and covered her mouth. He opened the car door to find the rope and tape, controlled the little girl, and threw her into the car, and the action was done in one go. Obviously, this guy either has a criminal record or has been specially trained for this set of actions. Anyway, he doesn't look like a good person. Realizing that the man was about to drive away, Toyama Tobi walked straight to the nearest car. He took out the professional tools he carried with him and fiddled with the car door. With a click, the car lock was opened, and Toyama Tobi sat in the driver's seat and continued to start the engine. In less than a minute, the car engine started, and Toyama Tobi drove the right-hand drive car with some unfamiliarity to catch up with the kidnapper's car. The kidnapper probably didn't expect someone to catch up with him from the hotel, so he drove the car directly to the alley near Urkio Middle School without making any detours. Urkio Middle School? Seeing the sign at the entrance of the school, Toyama Tobi suddenly realized that this was the location of the real kidnapper in the second episode of Conan's case. I have a new plan. Yes, Toyama Tobi had a new plan. Originally, Toyama Tobi thought that it was just an ordinary kidnapper, so he only planned to call the police and leave a good impression on the police to facilitate his subsequent actions. But now he realized that this was a case in Conan's plot, so he planned to leave a deep impression on the police officers of the investigation division through this case. The difference between the two is that in the former case, Yuan Shenfei did not know how the kidnapping would develop, so he had to cut the Gordian knot quickly. But in the latter case, Yuan Shenfei remembered the plot, which gave him a lot of room for maneuver. Yuan Shenfei parked the car at the entrance of the alley and saw the kidnapper get out of the car alone. He locked the car and went to the convenience store. After buying a bag of beer and snacks, he returned to the car and took the little lolly out. He should be very familiar with the surrounding environment and easily found a path to the back door of Urkio Middle School. After kicking the back door open, the kidnapper took the little lolly to the school warehouse. Then he started calling the little lolly's father for a ransom. When the kidnapper finished asking for the ransom and started laughing wildly in the warehouse, Yuan Shenfei walked into the warehouse leisurely. Hey, buddy, your ugly laughter is really a bit too disturbing. Can't you have a little sense of public morality? Who is it? The kidnapper, who was originally complacent, was shocked. There were other people in the school? Exclamation mark. He knew Urkio Middle School very well. Usually after school, when the students finished their duty, only the old man who was guarding the main gate would be left in the school. The old man was an alcoholic for many years, and it would not take long for him to get drunk. That was why he brought the meat ticket to this warehouse. He didn't expect that there were still people in the school who hadn't left. Chapter 6. You have a weak backhand and poor forehand. Are you worthy of competing with me? Toyama Tobi's black clothes were the standard attire for a serious member of the organization, but the handsome face full of sarcasm made the kidnapper more and more annoyed. There's nothing I can do. Since you have seen it, blame your bad luck. The simple kidnapper in front of him didn't even have a dagger in his hand, but only picked up the prepared steel baseball bat and grinned at Toyama Tobi. In the corner of the warehouse, the tied-up Tani Jingzi, the little lolly, whimpered with tears in her eyes, trying to stop the kidnapper from hurting this handsome uncle. Unfortunately, the kidnapper would not act according to the wishes of the hostage. TSK, TSK, TSK. Sometimes I really envy you people with overflowing self-confidence. Confidence is a good thing, but overconfidence is bad. Toyama Tobi slowly moved his muscles and bones and came to the world of Detective Conan and learned a lot of very criminal skills. To be honest, this is really the first time I have fought a serious target who is ready to kill me. The kidnapper stared at Yuan Shenfei in front of him. For some reason, the more he looked at Yuan Shenfei's left eye, the more annoying it became. Instinctively, he swung the baseball bat in his hand and smashed it at Yuan Shenfei's head. The moment the baseball bat fell, the kidnapper lost sight of Yuan Shenfei. What? Yuan Shenfei, who rushed to the side and back of the kidnapper, issued a new round of ridicule. You swing the bat weakly, you are not good at holding the bat, your steps are loose, your reaction is slow, and none of your movements are decent. You still want my left eye? Dream on. After saying this, Yuan Shenfei punched the kidnapper's waist without waiting for the kidnapper to turn around, forcing the kidnapper to turn around and face him. Kick the crotch, hit the throat, and pierce the ears with both breasts. After this set of silky combos, even though Yuan Shenfei had controlled his strength, the kidnapper still had less air in and more air out. Yuan Shenfei squatted down and checked the kidnapper's current situation. Well, it's not a big problem. The air intake is a little less, but at least she can still breathe, and if she can breathe, she won't die for the time being. Yuan Shenfei threw the kidnapper aside with satisfaction, then walked to Gu Jingzi and tore off the tape on her mouth. How is it? Are you not hurt? No. Gu Jingzi blushed and shook her head, staring at Yuan Shenfei with bright eyes. This scene of a hero saving a beauty like in a movie left an indelible mark in the little girl's heart. Of course, the premise is that the hero must be handsome enough. Otherwise, it will become the benefactor has a great kindness that cannot be repaid, and I will repay him, even if I have to work like a cow or a horse in the next life, and make a promise to him. What do you mean? You really don't mention anything about this life. Okay, then do you want to call home to report that you are safe? Yuan Shenfei took out his mobile phone and handed it to Gu Jingzi, indicating that she should call home and not let her family worry too much. While Gu Jingzi was on the phone, Yuan Shenfei walked to the gangster and started to rummage him. As a frugal young man of the new era, Yuan Shenfei began to clean up the battlefield, based on the principle of saving when necessary and spending when necessary. The suite at the Mihua Hotel, open. As a human being, of course, the most important thing is to live comfortably. Of course, the cash on the kidnappers must also be searched, which is at least some income. How long will it take to get rich? By relying on the organization's salary. After taking out the kidnapper's wallet and counting the pitiful cash in it, Yuan Shenfei kicked the unconscious kidnapper in dissatisfaction. What a fucking poor guy. The empty wallet was thrown to the kidnapper by Yuan Shenfei, and he expressed his sincere dissatisfaction with this guy, who did not seek to make progress. You dare to be a kidnapper with such a small amount of money? This industry is really about to end. Yuan Shenfei walked to the kidnapper's convenience store bag, took out a can of beer and drank it. What sound? Yuan Shenfei seemed to hear a sound of footsteps, but the footsteps seemed a little strange. It didn't sound like a human at all. As if thinking of something, he gave the little girl a look, and then Toyama Tobi picked up the baseball bat on the ground and stood at the door of the warehouse. Soon, a dog knight rushed in from the door. How to say it? After hearing this inhuman footsteps, Toyama Tobi almost guessed that Conan had arrived. But when Conan exposed the back of his head to him, a desire from the depths of his heart caught Toyama Tobi off guard. The knowledge torrent from detailed explanation of stealth backstab rewarded by Brother Jin continued to surge in Toyama Tobi's mind. This knowledge was quickly absorbed and integrated by Toyama Tobi, and then he instinctively found the right angle and swung the bat. Bang! Conan, who had just rushed in and was surprised that Tanya Kiko was actually on the phone, suddenly felt a strong and familiar feeling appear at the back of his head. In the last moment before he fainted, Conan saw the black clothes that made him creepy but excited again. I caught it. Before he finished speaking, Conan had fainted on the ground. This. Toyama Tobi dared to pat his conscience and say that he definitely didn't mean it and definitely didn't want to recreate the classic scene of Brother Jin. He just knocked down a kidnapper and was afraid that he had accomplices, so he was a little nervous and his actions were a little extreme. I think the police officers in the Metropolitan Police Department should be able to understand, right? Tani Jingzi and Toyama Tobi stared at each other for a while, and finally Toyama Tobi broke the awkward silence at the scene. Do you know this kid? Tani Jingzi shook her head in confusion. No, but, Big Mac, come here. The knight on his back was knocked off by a stick, and the fierce dog named Big Mac fell into confusion. His little master didn't seem to be in danger, so should he pounce on him now, or stay where he was? In the end, Big Mac chose to follow his heart, and then ran over when he heard his little master calling him. By the way, he also stepped on Conan, who was unconscious on the ground because of the club. After receiving the phone from Tani Jingzi, Toyama Tobi immediately chose to call the police, saying that he had just subdued a gangster who attempted to kidnap an elementary school student. He hoped that they would come and take the person away as soon as possible. As soon as the call was over, Toyama Tobi noticed that another girl rushed into the warehouse. Maori Mahua Unicorn Saint Seiya Pole Destroyer Destined European Emperor Ran. At this time, the horn on Xiaolan's head was not so sharp and upright. As soon as she came in, Maori Ran saw Conan lying on the ground unconscious. Conan? Excuse me, are you the parent of this child? Toyama Tobi immediately stood up to explain the situation. I was a little nervous after subduing the gangster just now, and then this child suddenly rushed in from the door. Anyway, red bean pastes me masse. Toyama Tobi sincerely apologized to Maori Ran. No matter what, it was she who knocked Conan unconscious with a stick. After learning the specific situation, Xiaolan felt a little unsure of what to say for a while. Chapter 7 Officer, I'm a good citizen. According to common sense, facing Toyama Tobi who knocked her own child unconscious with a stick, Maori Ran should have been angry. But Toyama Tobi had just subdued the gangster who kidnapped the little girl, and she knocked Conan down because of stress. In the final analysis, this matter was Conan's fault. If Conan had not rushed into the warehouse rashly, this scene would not have happened. Besides, what can you do if you rush in as a child? You are just going to get killed. Just when Maori Ran was struggling whether to apologize to Toyama Tobi, police sirens swarmed in. Maoli Kagoro and a group of detectives from the Metropolitan Police Department finally arrived at the scene. Ran, are you okay? Maoli Kagoro's eyes were obviously only concerned about the safety of his daughter, and he completely ignored the unfamiliar kid on the ground. Maybe it wasn't ignored, mainly because it was too dark, the warehouse was too dark, and Maoli Kagoro didn't see Conan on the ground. A group of detectives followed Maoli Kagoro into the warehouse of Nabashi Junior High School. The leader was none other than the most beautiful girl in the Metropolitan Police Department, Inspector Sato Miwako. Who called the police? It was me, officer. Toyama Tobi stepped forward and said to Sato Miwako, this way, this is the gangster who kidnapped the little girl. Sato Miwako looked at Toyama Tobi and then followed Toyama Tobi's finger to the corner of the warehouse. Sato Miwako's eyes jumped violently. If Toyama Tobi hadn't said it, she really wouldn't have noticed that there was another person in the warehouse in the corner. If the kidnapper's chest hadn't been a little heaving, she would have almost thought that the reporter had beaten the gangster to death this time. Quick, call an ambulance. Sato Miwako quickly asked her detective to make a call. To be honest, Sato Miwako was in the investigation division 1, so she had seen the world to some extent. But this was the first time she had seen such a miserable kidnapper. Officer Sato said to Toyama Tobi with a serious face, excuse me, what's your name? Toyama Tobi. Mr. Toyama, I'm Sato from the Metropolitan Police Department Investigation Division 1. Can you tell me about the specific circumstances of the incident? Sato Miwako said to Toyama Tobi. Of course, Officer Sato. Toyama Tobi nodded. This has to start from the restaurant of the Biha Hotel. Toyama Tobi briefly told Sato Miwako about the time, place, people, cause, process, and result of the incident. He talked about how he followed the kidnapper all the way to Nabashi Junior High School, and when he saw that the kidnapper seemed to want to kill the hostage, he immediately came out to stop him. Toyama Tobi's description was logically clear and orderly, and there was no ambiguity. Sato Miwako was inclined to accept Toyama Tobi's testimony. Of course, in the end, we have to wait for the kidnapper to wake up and make a confession to compare with Toyama Tobi's testimony. There is one more thing. Toyama Tobi said a little embarrassedly, pointing in the direction of Maori Ran. What's that person's name? Maori Ran. Yes, I actually knocked out the child that Maori classmate was holding. Toyama Tobi looked ashamed. Sato Miwako was very shocked and immediately ran to Conan to check carefully. There was no obvious external injury on Conan's body, except for a stick-shaped scar on the back of his neck. This child suddenly rushed in from the door of the warehouse, and I didn't stop my hand for a while, because I didn't react. Toyama Tobi explained. How did this child run to this place? Sato Miwako had a headache and asked her subordinates to call another ambulance and then looked at Maori Ran and Maori Kagoro with a reproachful look. Maori Kagoro felt very wronged. He didn't even know this kid and he was brought back by his own daughter. Then he ran out when he was dealing with the commission and the main thing was that he was a worry. Maori Ran was also a little helpless, although it was Dr. Agasa who asked her to take care of the child. But now it seems that Conan is a little too naughty. I just hope he can learn from his mistakes. Maulalan apologized to Officer Sato and Toyama Tobi on behalf of Conan. At this time, the ambulance called by other detectives also arrived at the scene. Other detectives helped the emergency personnel to lift the kidnapper onto the stretcher. Sato Miwako saw the kidnapper's empty wallet at a glance. Mr. Toyama, this. Toyama Tobi looked at the sky and whistled as if he didn't understand what you were saying. Then he hid the bag of wine at his feet slightly. Sato Miwako's forehead was bulging with blue veins and she said to Toyama Tobi speechlessly, Mr. Toyama, this is physical evidence at the scene. You can't hide it and take it away. Alas, Toyama Tobi sighed and reluctantly moved aside. The original bag of beer had been almost half drunk by Toyama Tobi in a short while. Okay, Officer Sato, these are yours. Not mine. They are physical evidence at the scene and need to be kept. Okay, you have the final say. Sato Miwako felt that her previous good impression of Toyama Tobi was all an illusion. How could this be a good citizen who was brave enough to do something righteous? He was clearly a questionable witness with a high level of force. Just as Sato Miwako was about to take Toyama Tobi back to the Metropolitan Police Department to take a statement, Conan, who was carried into the ambulance, suddenly woke up. The first thing Conan did when he woke up was to look at Toyama Tobi, who was talking to Sato Miwako. Quick, catch him, he is a member of a criminal organization. For a moment, everyone at the scene focused their attention on Toyama Tobi, and Sato Miwako's eyes also showed suspicion. But there was no actual action. As expected, Toyama Tobi began to prepare silently after Conan fainted. At this moment, when Conan loudly testified against him, he immediately showed a confused black question mark face. What? Conan, what are you talking about? Ran Maori quickly stopped the excited Conan and stopped the kid from talking nonsense. Ran, Sister Xiaolan, believe me, I'm telling the truth. That guy is really a member of a criminal organization. Everyone in their organization wears black clothes. He just knocked me out. Conan pointed to the back of his head and said to the many detectives, ignoring Ran Maori's dissuasion. It would have been fine if Conan hadn't mentioned that he was knocked out, but when he mentioned it, everyone's eyes were attracted and they were busy with their own things. The suspicion in Miwako Sato's eyes also disappeared, and she smiled apologetically at Toyama Tobi. Suddenly hearing Conan mention the organization in black, Toyama Tobi looked at Conan and gave him a strange look, then turned to Miwako Sato and said innocently, this Officer Sato, wearing black clothes is really my personal hobby. This criminal organization or something. Toyama Tobi hesitated and looked ridiculous. Miwako Sato patted Toyama Tobi's shoulder affectionately. Don't worry, our police will not doubt you, just because of a child's words. By the way, you may have to go back to the Metropolitan Police Department with me to make a statement later. Of course, it is a duty as citizens to cooperate with the police in solving cases. After saying that, Toyama Tobi walked aside, and when no one was looking at him but Conan, he stretched out two fingers and gestured in the direction of Conan and his eyes. I noticed you, kid. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 8, Double Strike. It turns out that Toyama Tobi, who appeared in the warehouse of Nabashi Junior High School, is really just a simple and warm-hearted good guy. When Sato Miwako was taking a statement from Toyama Tobi, the kidnapper who was sent to the hospital woke up after a rescue. Then he saw the detective standing around his bed, staring at him. The kidnapper, who failed miserably in his first action, did not resist and simply confessed his own criminal facts and motives. This kidnapper usually hangs around in Beaker Town, doing petty thefts from time to time. The reason why he went to Beaker Hotel today was because he had just successfully broken into a house 2 days ago. The cash he got was enough for him to squander for a while. Originally, he was thinking about going to Beaker Hotel to improve his meals, but he didn't expect to find a new business opportunity in the restaurant. Tanya Kiko, who was eating alone in the restaurant without an adult accompanying her, became a hot commodity in the eyes of the kidnapper. This kidnapper has a strong sense of crisis. Although he got a lot of money in the last break-in, he couldn't help spending the money lavishly. Seeing that he would be out of money in a few days, he simply swindled Tanya Kiko away in the restaurant. The subsequent developments learned from the kidnappers were not much different from what the detectives learned from Toyama Tobi. The only thing was that the kidnapper believed that he did not have a fierce fight with Toyama Tobi. In the warehouse, he was clearly beaten up by Toyama Tobi. He was completely unable to fight back. The detectives in the hospital thought of the doctor's diagnosis of the kidnapper and then thought of the kidnapper's confession. When they returned to the first investigation class, they all looked at Toyama Tobi with strange eyes. Toyama Tobi, who had just finished taking notes, was a little confused by the many subtle looks. He turned to Sato Miwako beside him and asked, "Officer Sato, why do other police officers look at me so strangely?" Sato Miwako also noticed the strange look her colleague gave Toyama Tobi, and she had just asked about it. Hearing Toyama Tobi's question, Sato Miwako said in a tangled manner, "Well, if you encounter this situation again next time, try to call the police." Sato Miwako thought about it. It was obviously too late to call the police in an emergency like today, so she added, "If our police really can't get here in time, try not to attack the vital parts when you subdue the criminals, especially the vital parts of the lower body." In the hearts of the entire investigation class, Toyama Tobi is the most ruthless person they have ever met in their lives. All male detectives will subconsciously clamp their legs when they see Toyama Tobi. As the saying goes, we are of the same roots, why are we so anxious to fight each other? Sato Miwako chatted with Toyama Tobi while sending him out of the Metropolitan Police Department building. Just now when taking notes, Sato Miwako learned that Toyama Tobi had just arrived in Beaker Town not long ago and was still living in a hotel. Since he had no permanent residence and had not found a job, he asked, "Have you decided what to do next? By the way, you haven't found a house yet, right? Do you want me to introduce you to a reliable real estate agent?" Toyama Tobi thought for a while and chuckled. "What do you think of me becoming a detective?" "Detective? Are you sure? It's not easy to do this job in Tokyo." Sato Miwako was not optimistic that Toyama Tobi could become a detective. The reason was different from Rum's, mainly because there were too many private detectives in Tokyo. Detective agencies were everywhere, and some small detective agencies were like the one of Maurika Goro. The detectives of the agency were also the bosses of the agency, and they were responsible for their own profits and losses. Whether the business was good or not depended on whether God gave them a job. There were also some larger detective agencies with many detectives. They had a stable source of customers, but the requirements for recruiting detectives were also relatively high. The minimum requirement was that they had to be experienced and skilled. Toyama Tobi's conditions obviously did not meet this standard. Miwako Sato thought about it and decided to help Toyama Tobi. "How about this? Let's leave contact information. If I encounter a difficult case, I will contact you. If you can handle it, I will help you promote it afterwards. What do you think?" Toyama Tobi's first reaction when he heard Miwako Sato say this was that Officer Sato is a kind person. He is worthy of being a popular character in the anime in his previous life, to be able to help a stranger he met for the first time. Of course, Miwako Sato's help to Toyama Tobi is not without principles. If you want Sato to help promote yourself, you must first have real skills. Otherwise, if Miwako Sato gives the opportunity and Toyama Tobi can't take it, then he can only blame himself for being useless. Toyama Tobi decided to return the favor. "In that case, if I encounter criminals or fugitives, I can also contact you, Officer Sato. By the way, if I help the police catch the criminals, there will be a cash reward, right?" "Hahaha, of course. If you can really catch them." Sato Miwako patted Toyama Tobi on the back generously, but did not take Toyama Tobi's words seriously. The Metropolitan Police Department does have reward measures for citizens who are brave and help catch criminals. There are rewards ranging from as small as 30,000 or 50,000 yen to as large as 100,000 or 80,000 yen. There are even fugitives whose rewards can reach several million. The main point is a big stage, so come if you are brave enough. After listening to Sato Miwako's introduction, Toyama Tobi showed a sincere smile and looked at the female police officer next to him. In that case, am I your informant, Officer Sato? Sato Miwako was stunned and then thought Toyama Tobi was joking. But Sato is obviously a cheerful person who can make jokes. Yes, from now on you are my informant of Sato Miwako. How do you feel? It's an honor, Officer Sato. Toyama Tobi's smile became brighter and brighter, and he walked with Sato Miwako to the door of the Metropolitan Police Department building. He politely declined Sato's offer to take him to the hotel, hailed a taxi and got in. After getting in the car, regardless of the driver in the car, Toyama Tobi laughed 3 times and signaled the driver to go to the Rice Flower Hotel. Then he began to check the latest rewards in the back seat. Good man. Officer Sato is really a good man. If he was not afraid of being attacked by the male police officers of the entire Metropolitan Police Department, Toyama Tobi wanted to pick up Sato Miwako and take a bite. He originally thought that the task of becoming a police informant would take at least some time to complete. Unexpectedly, today, he was directly recruited by the kind-hearted Officer Sato. Regardless of whether Officer Sato was joking or not, she at least admitted that Toyama Tobi was her informant. This means, system prompt, you have completed the task from your direct supervisor. Become a police informant. System prompt, you have a new direct supervisor, Sato Miwako, Metropolitan Police Department, Investigation Division 1. Chapter 9, Flower of the Metropolitan Police Department, Trays. System prompt, you have completed the Become a Police Informant task issued by your superior. Reward, a small amount of intelligence support from the Black Organization. A small amount of intelligence support from the Black Organization. Your direct leader has opened up the E level, upper limit is S, intelligence authority within the Black Organization, to facilitate your execution of the task and to test your loyalty. With the E-level intelligence authority, you can query some intelligence from the intelligence group, which does not include 1. Identity information of all members of the organization. 2. Mission reports of all members of the organization. 3. Undercover information sent by the organization to various institutions, companies, and departments. 4. Partners of the organization. 5. Former partners of the organization. Yuan Shenfei saw this and understood that the help provided by was indeed serious help, but this intelligence could not involve the organization itself at all. At the same time, this was also a test. If Yuan Shenfei was excited to search for internal intelligence of the organization, after obtaining the intelligence authority, he would definitely be suspected by Rum's intelligence decentralization this time was essentially a phishing enforcement against Yuan Shenfei. Just as he figured this out, Toyama Tobi received 2 emails from Rum. One of the emails only had a bunch of email addresses that burned after reading. The other email said, the organization's intelligence team will give you some intelligence support during the mission. If you want to investigate anything, you can send an email to the email address above. Okay, got it. Thank you very much, Lord Rum. Toyama Tobi thought that he would never have to reply received in his life after crossing over, but he didn't expect to be slapped in the face at this time. But it should be said that the reward provided by Rum's second brother is still very attractive. Although Toyama Tobi has become Sato Miwako's informant, he is not ready to submit the task to Rum now. Anyway, the system has already given the reward for this task, so there is no need to rush to hand in the task. The informant or not is just a joke between Sato Miwako and Toyama Tobi. The system recognizes it, but Rum may not. Besides, if the leader gives you a task that he thinks is a bit difficult, then as a worker, you must show the difficulty. Otherwise, the leader will think, hey, young man, you are very capable, then all these difficult tasks will be given to you in the future. When you finally complete the task, the leader will think, that you should get the reward according to your ability, but if you fail to complete it, you will be criticized. This is really unnecessary. After checking Rum's reward, Yuan Shinefui began to check the gift package for joining the company given by Sato Miwako. System prompt: you have obtained a new direct leader, Sato Miwako, Metropolitan Police Department, Investigation Division 1. System prompt: you received the joining reward from your direct leader, Sato Miwako, Flower of the Metropolitan Police Department. Tray: Flower of the Metropolitan Police Department. Tray. When you obtain this tray, you will gain a lot of favorability when you first meet a male police officer of the Metropolitan Police Department, including those who think they are male. When you obtain this tray, the desire of the male police officers of the Metropolitan Police Department to protect you will be greatly increased. When you obtain this tray, it is easier for you to seek help from male police officers of the Metropolitan Police Department. When you obtain this tray, your friendliness in the Japanese police is initially defaulted to friendly. Good guy, Toyama Tobi exclaimed. This time, isn't he the emperor of the Metropolitan Police Department? The old guy sitting on the stage is the superintendent of police. As the saying goes, kings, princes, generals and ministers are born with different species. Come down. At this moment, Toyama Tobi suddenly felt the foresight of the second brother Rum when he first issued the task. Well, if I can pass the national level 1 civil service examination, maybe I can really get a superintendent of police in the Metropolitan Police Department. Sister Sato, you are really awesome. Through these rewards, Toyama Tobi has gradually found some rules. At present, the rewards in the entry gift package are the most generous and of the highest quality. As for the completion of the tasks issued by the boss, the quality of the rewards will probably depend on the difficulty of the tasks. For example, Toyama Tobi completed the tasks of Gin and Rum in succession, and the rewards he received cannot be said to be bad, but they can only be said to be somewhat useful. It is not a tasteless thing, but it is not that useful. This is obviously related to the difficulty of the tasks determined by the system. It won't be difficult for Toyama Tobi, who has obtained Jin's ace potential tray, to pass the assessment from an outer member to an ordinary member. Similarly, it doesn't seem to be difficult for Toyama Tobi, who has no criminal record, to become an informant for the police. As the saying goes, wealth and honor are sought in danger, and Toyama Tobi has a new idea in his mind. After returning to the hotel, Toyama Tobi, who was originally planning to rest, met an unexpected visitor. Tanijing's father, the big boss of a company. He is also the target of the ransom that the kidnappers want today. Tanijing's father came for a simple reason, just to thank Toyama Tobi for saving his daughter. He learned from the police that the kidnappers had already thought of killing the victim at that time, but fortunately Toyama Tobi arrived in time to subdue the criminals. This life-saving grace could not be repaid, and Tanijing's father presented Toyama Tobi with a large check. For this unexpected fortune, Toyama Tobi took it without hesitation. It is a fact that Toyama Tobi saved Tanijing's, and he did not intend to repay the favor. Accepting this check is beneficial to both parties. Sure enough, after seeing Toyama Tobi choose to take the money, Taniakiko's father relaxed a lot. Later, after learning that Toyama Tobi was going to become a detective, he patted his chest and said that he would definitely introduce him to some big clients. Although the two men were of different ages, Tana's father, who had a good chat, still took Toyama Tobi to appreciate the bright lights and wine of the big city. It was really called the flowers gradually becoming dazzling. Asakusa, Asakusa, Asakusa. What is Asakusa? Toyama Tobi, who slept until noon, got up from the bed, washed and dressed, bought 2 bottles of wine at the convenience store, bought a bunch of study materials at the bookstore, and then came to the Maori Detective Agency. Hey, Mr. Toyama? Hearing the knock on the door, Maori ran open the door, and was a little surprised to see Toyama Tobi standing outside the door. When she let Toyama Tobi into the office, she saw Maori Kagoro, who looked unhappy, sitting behind the desk and looking at her. Maori Kagoro's unhappiness Toyama Tobi could understand, because Tana's father's commission was not a small amount. Because of the arrival of Toyama Tobi, a big business deal slipped through one's fingers. No one could give a good face to the culprit. Fortunately, Toyama Tobi had a trick. Mr. Maori, I'm so sorry that I accidentally injured your child at the scene yesterday. This is my apology. A small gift is not enough to show respect. Toyama Tobi put 2 bottles of wine in front of Maori Kagoro. Then we saw the smooth change from cloudy to sunny. Gin and vodka. Oh, Mr. Toyama is really expensive. Too expensive. How can I be so embarrassed? Maori Kagoro obviously knew the value of the 2 bottles of wine in front of him. He said that he had forgotten the unpleasantness of both parties last night. Maori Kagoro, who got along better and better with Toyama Tobi, even enthusiastically invited Toyama Tobi to have dinner together. Toyama Tobi agreed and then asked Maori Ran, by the way, Maori, where is the little brother who was accidentally injured by me yesterday? Chapter 10, Conan's fear of black clothes. Just call me Zyadlan. The more Toyama Tobi and Maori Kagoro talked, the more they got along. They opened the vodka and started drinking it without waiting for dinner. If they continued to drink like this, it would only be a matter of time before the 2 of them kowtowed to each other and became sworn brothers. Maori Ran saw that the situation was not good and did not want to be greatly reduced in generation, so she hurriedly said to Toyama Tobi, Conan went out to play with his classmates today. If you calculate the time, Maori Ran glanced at the wall clock. He should be back soon, right? Speaking of Conan, Conan is here. Sister Zyadlan, I'm back. A cute child's voice sounded outside the office door. Conan tiptoed to open the door of the office and saw Toyama Tobi, who was chatting happily with Maori Ran. Conan? Conan, you're back. Zyadlan smiled and waved at Conan, then pointed at Toyama Tobi beside her and said, Mr. Toyama came to apologize to you for what happened yesterday. That's right, Conan. Toyama Tobi walked to the corner of the office and took out a black bag. At this moment, he was dressed in black and had a sinister smile on his face. The black bag he took out looked very heavy. Conan suddenly remembered that he was hit with a club in Dorobiga Paradise and heard the conversation between the 2 black-clad gangsters in a daze. They have guns. They have guns. Conan's expression became more and more terrified until Toyama Tobi reached his hand into the black bag. I was discovered. I was discovered by them. They are coming to kill people now. Zyadlan, run away. Conan suddenly rushed towards Toyama Tobi and was about to use his petite body to block Toyama Tobi's gun hole. Ah. Toyama Tobi stood up confusedly, holding the elementary school exercise book he had just bought in his hand. It was a thick book, and it looked full of knowledge. Bagger, what are you making noise about, little brat? Conan's shout didn't scare Toyama Tobi, but it scared Maori Kagoro enough. Half of the half cup of vodka in his hand spilled out, which made him feel distressed. He immediately punched Conan's head hard, and in the blink of an eye, a big steaming bag grew quickly from Conan's head. Maori Ran also said to Conan in a reproachful way, Conan, how can you be so rude? You have to call me Sister Zyadlan, and don't be so rude to Mr. Toyama again, understand? Buddy. Conan pointed at Toyama Tobi and wanted to say something, but when he turned around, he found that Toyama Tobi looked like a good old man and smiled at him. He looked like an adult who didn't care about children. Conan was getting more and more scared. This guy's acting skills were really good. Toyama Tobi smiled and squatted down, handed the exercise book in his hand to Conan, and then said meaningfully, Conan, you know a lot. In this case, you must finish this exercise book well. By the way, I will let your sister Zyadlan supervise you. After saying that, Toyama Tobi deliberately glanced at Maori Ran, who was preparing dinner in the kitchen, and the threat in his eyes was beyond words. Conan finally calmed down. He sadly found that, because of his identity as a child, the adults around him didn't believe him at all. No, there was one person who believed it. Conan looked up at Toyama Tobi. Because of his impulse, now this guy from the black organization was led to the office. Conan just felt cold all over at this moment. He was thinking of a way. He had to think of a way. He had to think of a way. Otherwise, gin's cold, vodka's hideous, and Toyama Tobi's playful eyes alternately appeared in Conan's mind. If he couldn't think of a way, his impulse might very well. No, it had already implicated Zyadlan's family. Thank you, Mr. Toyama. Conan tried hard to act like a normal kid, but this was probably in vain. Xiaolin quickly prepared dinner, and Toyama Tobi and Maori Kagoro moved the battlefield to the dining table. The drunk Maori Kagoro was tricked by Toyama Tobi into saying that he had a wife from whom he was separated. She was a famous lawyer, known as the Undefeated Queen. And then there was Conan, the kid, who was actually staying at their house. Hey, isn't Conan Mr. Maori's child? I thought his name was Maori Conan. Toyama Tobi looked very surprised. At this point, Maolilin smiled and said naturally, no, the child is actually called Edogawa Conan. Edogawa Conan? That's right, this name sounds like a random fake name. Edogawa Ranpo, Conan Doyle. Could it be a random name given by a mystery fan? How is that possible? But I heard from Dr. Agasa that Conan's parents seem to be avid mystery novel fans, so that's how it is that Dr. Agasa is. Driver Agasa is an elder who asked me to take care of Conan, and Conan is the child of his relative. During the question and answer between Toyama Tobi and Maolilin, Conan was on pins and needles. Toyama Tobi revealed Conan's past in a few words, and even affected Dr. Agasa. But Conan didn't dare to stop it. Even if he interrupted their conversation by throwing a tantrum like a child, he couldn't stop Toyama Tobi from investigating in other ways. What's more, other people believed that he was a simple child, but Toyama Tobi might not be. Conan's intuition told him that this man named Toyama Tobi must know something. Damn it. Just when Toyama Tobi was about to lead the topic to Kudo Shinichi, his cell phone suddenly rang. Sorry, I'm going out to answer a call. Toyama Tobi greeted the Mori father and daughter and walked into the corridor of the office. After answering the phone, he said, this is Toyama, who are you? Sister Xiaolin, I'm going to the bathroom. Toyama Tobi's departure made Conan unable to sit still any longer. He hid behind the door while urinating and eavesdropped on Toyama Tobi's phone call. As for me, I'm at the Maori Detective Agency now. Yes, that's a very interesting kid. I'm a little curious about him. Hey, is he such a big shot? I see. Just let me handle it. I'll make sure she doesn't have any more worries. Tonight. Time is a bit tight, but it's not too late to leave now. Okay, I understand. No one will know about this. Conan couldn't hear what the other party was saying on the phone, but based on what Toyama Tobi said, he gradually outlined the image of a killer taking on a mission. Just as Conan was slightly stunned, Toyama Tobi put away the phone and suddenly turned around. The cold eyes seemed to see Conan himself, who was hiding behind the door with a violent heartbeat through the crack in the door. A moment later, Toyama Tobi returned to the table and apologized to the Maori father and daughter, saying that he had something to do and needed to leave early. Just as Maori Kagoro was lamenting and mourning the loss of his drinking buddy, Toyama Tobi suddenly said, why don't you come with me, Mr. Maori? This is a commission from a friend who helped to contact. Chapter 11 Friend, do you have some misunderstandings about detectives? Under certain conditions, Kagoro Mori is actually a very enthusiastic person. For example, Toyama Tobi gave him 2 bottles of wine. For example, the two of them hit it off immediately, met each other too late, and had similar tastes. When he heard that Toyama was interested in becoming a detective, Kagoro Mori, as the eldest brother, had to help out. Toyama was definitely not able to grasp the commission for the first time, not to mention that it was introduced by a friend. If this commission is not handled well, wouldn't it make the younger brother embarrassed in front of his friends? Kagoro Mori patted his chest and said, don't worry, Toyama. I, Kagoro Mori, will definitely help you complete this commission beautifully. After he finished speaking, Toyama Tobi hurriedly complimented Kagoro Mori, saying that Brother Mori was very righteous, that Brother Mori was worthy of being Tokyo Hubeoie, and that he was a timely rain of rice flowers. He just said what Kagoro Mori meant. Conan, who couldn't get a word in, was anxious. Uncle Maori and Xiaolin didn't know the details of Toyama Tobi, so how could he not know? That guy was clearly a member of the black organization. How could the commission he received from a member of a criminal group be a good thing? Conan, who had experienced many battles and was used to seeing the dark side of human nature at the murder scene, guessed at the first time that Toyama Tobi's request for help from Maori Kagoro was probably fake, and that he wanted Uncle Maori to be his scapegoat. Conan was very anxious. Although Conan didn't think much of Maori Kagoro and the detective industry, he was Xyadalan's father after all. He was his future father-in-law. How could he just watch Maori Kagoro being framed by Toyama Tobi and put in prison? At this moment, Conan had even imagined the scene of Maori Kagoro being arrested and imprisoned, and Xyadalan crying all day long. No, I have to do something. Conan gritted his teeth and broke his moral bottom line. The naughty kid who thought he was a serious kid began to unleash his nature and act like a spoiled brat. At this moment, Conan's mother, Yukiko Kudo, was blessed with the acting talent of a world-class actress. Conan's image of a naughty kid was natural and flawless. Maori Kagoro did not feel the friendship of his future son-in-law at all. He only thought that Conan was a very noisy kid. Maori Ran looked a little embarrassed. She herself was just a high school student and had no solution to the current difficult situation. She even blamed herself because she was the one who brought Conan back. Now Conan caused trouble to Toyama Tobi, who was a guest, and it was all her responsibility. Facing Conan's performance, Toyama Tobi's eyes flashed with an inexplicable look from time to time. Finally, after quietly appreciating Conan's shameless live performance for more than 10 minutes, he smiled brightly. It's okay, Xyadalan. If Conan is willing to follow you, just take him with you. Anyway, it's a commission introduced by a friend. It shouldn't be a problem. Maulalan, who got Toyama Tobi's promise, was as if pardoned, so she squatted down and educated Conan. Conan, Toyama-san has agreed to your request, but you must be obedient when Mr. Toyama and Dad are working. Do you understand? Little did she know that at this moment Conan's attention was not on Xyadalan, but a fierce storm of thoughts in his mind. This guy actually agreed so easily? How could he agree so readily? Originally, Conan's plan was to highlight the problem of Toyama Tobi's invitation by throwing a tantrum. But Toyama Tobi's unconventional moves directly disrupted Conan's subsequent deployment. Inside the firm, Toyama Tobi's trust is obviously higher than that of a child like him. Even if he is asked to remind Maori Kagoro and Xyadalan now, he can't do it. Damn it. In this case, we can only take one step and see what happens. So Toyama Tobi brought the Maori family to the place where he received his first commission during his internship as a detective. Oh, this apartment looks very high-end. Brother Toyama, it seems that the identity of the client you handled for the first commission is very extraordinary. Maori Kagoro sighed sincerely at the towering high-end apartment building in front of him. Toyama Tobi smiled at this. The identity of the client is indeed extraordinary. Maybe you know her, Brother Maorishi. The pronunciation of he and her is different in Japanese, so Maori Kagoro easily heard that the client was a woman. But when it comes to the woman he knows, Maori Kagoro fell into deep thought. To be honest, with the women Maori Kagoro knows, it is like looking for a needle in a haystack to guess who the client is. Let's go in. Toyama Tobi took the lead and walked into the luxury apartment. After he came to the apartment management office to explain his identity, he was allowed to pass by the doorman of the management office. Of course, all this had a different taste in the eyes of Conan, who was a little far away. Have those guys in black bribed the doorman? When passing the doorman, Conan deliberately remembered the doorman's appearance and then observed carefully along the way, fearing that Toyama Tobi would do something on the way. Everyone took the elevator all the way to the 25th floor. When they arrived at the door of one of the apartments on the 25th floor, Maori Kagoro was ready to help Toyama Tobi knock on the door. Wait a minute, Mr. Maori, since we are still here to investigate, it is better to keep a low profile. Huh? Maori Kagoro looked at his brother who he just met today in confusion. Although detectives need to keep a low profile on some commissions, what does this have to do with knocking on the door? Brother Toyama, his brain circuit, is it a bit too strange? Just when Maori Kagoro was about to see how Toyama Tobi would keep a low profile, Maori Kagoro saw Toyama Tobi take out a wire, squat down and poke at the door lock. Wait a minute. Maori Kagoro's eyes popped out of his sockets. If he was not mistaken, Toyama Tobi was going to pick the lock. How could this be low-key? Brother Toyama, do you have any misunderstandings about the detective profession? Just when Maori Kagoro was about to stop such illegal behavior, Toyama Tobi had already pried open the door lock in front of him with lightning speed. What the hell? So fast. Brother, tell me the truth. What did you do in your hometown before coming to Tokyo? You are a little too skilled. Before Maori Kagoro could express his inappropriate feelings, Toyama Tobi had already opened the door in front of him, and then he made eye contact with a woman standing at the door. At this moment, Aikazuo Yuko was completely confused. The suddenly opened door and the two big men standing at the door made her brain crash. This is Akino Yoko's home, right? Who are those two people at the door? What are they doing here? How did they get in? Why do they have the key to Yoko Akino's house? No, she clearly didn't hear the sound of the key being inserted into the keyhole just now. Chapter 12 Invasion Forced Bedroom Threesome. Yuko Aikazuo's heart skipped a beat, and she suddenly realized that something seemed wrong. She was ready to shout for help regardless of the consequences. Don't worry about whether she was invading a private house. These two men were obviously up to no good. A smiling tiger, Toyama Tobi, and a black-faced man, Mori Kagoro. This combination is the kind of villain in a TV series. Unfortunately, Yuko Aikazuo's movements were not as fast as Toyama Tobi's. The two were not far apart, and Toyama Tobi had already cut in front of Yuko Aikazuo in just 3 or 2 steps. Reaching out and grabbing Yuko Aikazuo's collar, Toyama Tobi used the judo throw technique, ouchi carry. Beautiful ouchi carry. An expert can tell whether it is a good move or not with just one hand. As a judo expert, Mori Kagoro saw Toyama Tobi's standard moves and subconsciously cheered. The next second his eyelids twitched. Toyama Tobi subdued the woman in front of him with one move and covered her mouth, making her unable to make any sound. Then he picked up Aikazuo Yuko from the ground and said to Maori Kagoro behind him, "Brother Maori, come and give me a hand." Maori Kagoro was a little confused for a moment. So far, he still didn't understand the situation at the scene. "Brother, didn't we come here to accept the commission? You knocked the client down as soon as you met him, so whose commission are we going to accept? Even if you want to show your business ability, isn't this way of showing it a bit extreme? The client is looking for a detective, not a thug who breaks into the house and picks the lock." Although Maori Kagoro had thousands of thoughts in his mind, his body still subconsciously obeyed the call of Toyama Tobi. The two of them drove Aikazuo Yuko, who was already limp and unable to walk, towards the bedroom. Toyama Tobi even had the leisure to instruct Xiaolan at the door. "Run, keep an eye on Conan, and don't let him run around. Mr. Maori and I are going to do something, and we'll be out soon." Toyama Tobi didn't notice what Xiaolan's reaction was. He felt that, when he finished speaking, the body of Aikazuo Yuko trembled violently. It's just two men and a woman going into the bedroom to do something. What's so scary about that? At this moment, Aikazuo Yuko was crying out to heaven and earth for help, but no one answered. Aikazuo Yuko, who has always been an atheist, suddenly began to believe in karma, which has been proven time and time again. After getting the person into the bedroom, Toyama Tobi found a handkerchief that looked relatively clean and stuffed it into Aikazuo Yuko's mouth. At this moment, Maori Kagoro finally realized what his newly acknowledged brother was doing, so he hurried forward to stop Toyama Tobi from trying to find a rope in the bedroom. "That's enough, Brother Toyama, there's no need for a rope. I think this lady doesn't even have the strength to stand up right now, so forget about the rope." Maori Kagoro, who wanted to persuade Toyama Tobi, just wanted to slap himself in the face after hearing what he said. "What the hell are you talking about?" Toyama Tobi also looked at Maori with a look on his face, saying that we are indeed kindred spirits, and then made a look. It's time to test the tacit understanding of this pair of brothers who just met. Maori Kagoro, who realized that Toyama Tobi didn't seem to be messing around, was slightly relieved, and then stood aside and stared at Toyama Tobi to see what he was going to do next. Maori also heard what Toyama Tobi said just now, and he was afraid that, if he went out, some bad noises that could easily corrupt children would be heard from the room. Yuan nephew I squatted in front of Aikazuo Yuko and said to her with a smile, "Brother, I only want money, not life. Don't worry. I'll let go of your mouth. If you scream, I'll change something else to plug it for you. How about it, deal?" Aikazuo Yuko heard that there was still room for struggle, so she nodded hurriedly. Seeing that Aikazuo Yuko was so cooperative, Yuan nephew I took the handkerchief out of her mouth and threw it on the ground in disgust. Ikazuo Yuko gasped heavily, trying to balance her inner fear with excessive oxygen intake. Unfortunately, it was useless. At this time, Toyama Tobi said, I bought this place from someone at a high price. It should be Yoko Akino's house. I also found out about her schedule today. She probably won't be back for a while. I just wanted to come in and make some money. Can you tell me why you are here? Toyama Tobi's face was gloomy when he said this, and he said sinisterly, why, are you planning to steal my business? Ikazuo Yuko suddenly got a chill. She knew that, if she answered this question well, she would be able to survive. If she didn't answer it well, she knew the rules of Toyama Tobi's line. If no one saw her face, she would have a chance to survive. But if someone saw her appearance, she would definitely not survive. Whether she lived or died depended on how she answered. Ikazuo Yuko immediately made up her mind and said to Toyama Tobi, brother, we are one family, brother. Then Ikazuo Yuko explained in detail why she appeared in Yoko Akino's house. She also talked about how much she looked down on Yoko Akino on weekdays, and how she and Yoko Akino competed in the entertainment industry on weekdays. Anyway, in one sentence, I don't like Yoko Akino at all. I'm still the leader of her haters, and we are definitely friends. I can even join her on the spot. After we drink a glass of blood wine, we are all family. At this moment, Toyama Tobi looked at Ikazuo Yuko with strange eyes and asked her curiously, do you think we come to her house to make money because we hate Yoko Akino? Isn't it? Ikazuo Yuko's heart trembled and she was slowly wrapped in despair. Did I guess wrong? Exclamation mark. Isn't it that the way you respect idols in your industry is to steal things from his house? Exclamation mark. It can't be. It shouldn't be. Toyama Tobi pointed to Maori Kagoro beside him and said to Ikazuo Yuko, do you think he looks like he hates Yoko Akino? What state was Maori Kagoro in at this time? To be precise, it should be the pilgrimage-like state of a fanatical fan who sees that the idol's room is a real residence. Maori's eyes were overwhelmed, and he greedily stared at every detail in the room. To be honest, he really looks like a pervert. Toyama Tobi was somewhat disgusted with Kagoro Mori in this state. Although Toyama Tobi was disgusted, Ikazuo Yuko was not. She tried hard to recall what she had just said. Did she say anything bad about Yoko Akino? You know, if someone badmouths an idol in front of a fanatical fan, even his parents would have a quarrel. Ikazuo Yuko smiled bitterly. She remembered. She just now didn't stop saying bad things about Yoko Akino. It's over. My life is over. Act according to my expression. Damn, I'm blind. Chapter 13 Uncle Maori, how did you become an accomplice? Ever since Toyama Tobi and Maori Kagoro dragged Ikazuo Yuko into the bedroom, Conan has never given up the idea of sneaking in. But now Xiaolan has a bad impression of Conan and thinks that Conan is a naughty child who makes people worry. With Toyama Tobi's special reminder, Conan is very closely watched. First of all, Conan's best poop and pee escape is useless. Xiaolan, who is very vigilant, will wait outside the bathroom even when Conan goes to the bathroom. When Conan comes out of the bathroom, she will immediately pull him up to prevent him from running around. Secondly, some of the reasons that children usually use to throw tantrums, such as I'm hungry, I'm thirsty, I'm so sleepy, I want to go home, are completely useless. Maori Ran will not let Conan disturb Toyama Tobi and Maori Kagoro, no matter what she says today. Faced with Conan's constant coquetry and tantrums, Xiaolan also has her own unique way of dealing with it. That is, once Conan makes too much noise, Xiaolan will threaten to take Conan home. Conan's little arms can't twist the big thighs, so he can only find another way. Don't say, he really found a way to interrupt Toyama Tobi's crime. Conan touched his bow voice changer, which is the latest product developed by Dr. Agasa. It is also the first black technology prop specially made for him. Through this bow voice changer, Conan can simulate the voice of anyone, men, women, old people, children. Since elementary school students are not trusted, the police should not ignore it if adults call the police. Conan set his sights on the landline, placed on the entrance, ready to find an opportunity to call the police, while Xiaolan is not paying attention. There is a saying that there is only a thief who can do thieves for 1,000 days, but there is no thief who can guard against thieves for 1,000 days. Finally, Conan's quietness for a period of time seemed to paralyze Marilyn, and she just needed to go to the bathroom. After letting Conan wait for her in the living room, Xiaolin hurried into the bathroom. Good opportunity. Conan's vigilance against Toyama Tobi made him sober up. In normal times, facing such a good opportunity, Conan would have to run to the bedroom door and lie down under the crack of the door. But this time it was different. Conan chose to run to the entrance and use the voice of an adult male in the bow-tie voice changer to call the Metropolitan Police Department. It was about a gangster in the apartment in Heidocho who was trying to harm a woman. After doing all this, Conan was relieved. He had just described the situation as very serious, and the detectives from the Metropolitan Police Department should come soon. At that time, as long as Toyama Tobi is arrested, he can get information about the black organization from his mouth. When the black organization is uprooted, he can also get the antidote and turn himself back into Kyudo Shinichi. The future is bright and beautiful. At this moment, Conan's heart was full of hope. After calling the police, Conan felt relieved, and then he returned to his old ways and prepared to eavesdrop on the situation in the bedroom at the door of the bedroom. Although he disdained Maori Kagoro's reasoning level, Conan still trusted Maori Kagoro's character. Although Maori Kagoro was not particular about details, he should not make mistakes in the face of major issues. Uncle Maori should not become an accomplice of that guy, right? Conan thought. The bedroom of Yoko Akino's house is well soundproofed. If you want to hear the sound in the room, you have to get close to the door of the bedroom. So when Conan tiptoed to the door of the bedroom, before he could listen, the door of the bedroom was suddenly opened from the inside. Toyama Tobi stood at the door and looked at Conan, who was shocked. As expected, Conan is Conan after all. No matter how strictly he guards, this thing will always find a chance to sneak out. Toyama Tobi noticed that the light was on in the bathroom and there was no figure of Marilyn in the living room. He immediately realized that Conan's trick should be reverse urination. It's really worthy of Conan. The trick of urinating really made him play it out. At this time, Conan didn't feel how scary it was to see Toyama Tobi suddenly open the door, because what was more scary was that he saw from the gap in the bedroom that Maori Kagoro was saying something with a gloomy face to Ikazuo Yuko, who was lying on the ground. "No, uncle, what are you doing?" Exclamation mark. Shouldn't you rebuke Toyama Tobi with righteous words and subdue him directly at this time? Exclamation mark. Why did you suddenly become involved with him? Uncle, you have become an accomplice of the criminals. Conan suddenly regretted calling the police just now. He had sent his father-in-law to jail by doing so. What if Xiaolin knew about this? Although Maori Kagoro was greasy, sloppy, loved drinking and was lustful, Conan felt that Xiaolin's father could still be saved. Just as Conan was about to say something, he was suddenly lifted into the air by Toyama Tobi's collar and sent to Xiaolin's arms, who came out of the bathroom. Looking at Conan, who was hugged by Xiaolin, Toyama Tobi said meaningfully, "Little boy, you are really lucky." Toyama Tobi said and found a video recorder in the drawer of the living room and then turned back to the bedroom. After about 20 minutes, Toyama Tobi and Maori Kagoro left the bedroom contentedly. In his hand, he still held the video recorder that he had just brought in. That's right, only Toyama Tobi and Maori Kagoro came out of the bedroom. As for Ikazuo Yuko, who just went in with them. Think about it carefully. Conan was left with despair. In his opinion, Maori Kagoro was completely dragged down by Toyama Tobi. At this moment, Toyama Tobi and Maori Kagoro were still flattering each other. Toyama Tobi, you are indeed worthy of being brother Maori. You are indeed a senior practitioner in the detective industry. There are many problems that I didn't even notice. If it weren't for you reminding me, I might have really neglected it. Maori Kagoro laughed when he heard it. Hey, it's nothing. I just entered the industry a few days earlier than you. If we really want to talk about talent, we still have to look at young people like you. I'm very optimistic about you. You are much better than that arrogant kid from the Kudo family. Hey, brother Maori, are you talking about Kyudo Shinichi, the high school detective? Toyama Tobi heard the keywords again and glanced at Conan, who was so nervous that his whole body was stiff. Then he asked Mauri Goro, brother, do you know Kudo Shinichi? More than knowing him. Humph. Mauri Goro snorted coldly. His nose was not a nose and his eyes were not eyes. That was the most instinctive hostility of a hard-working old father towards a wild boar who wanted to eat his own cabbage. That kid is studying at Teton High School and is a classmate of Zyadolin. Speaking of which, I'm really curious about this high school detective. Zyadolin, can you introduce him to me? Toyama Tobi asked. Mauri ran with a smile. Conan clearly saw a big red word appear on his head through the mirror. Danger. Just when Conan was about to say something to interrupt the topic, there was a knock on the door. Toyama Tobi and Mauri Goro looked at each other. Could it be that the client is back, brother Toyama? Chapter 14 Conan, I was the one who called the police, right? No way. Toyama Tobi shook his head. He was just talking to a Kino Yoko. Otherwise, he wouldn't know where her video recorder is. Who knocks on the door when they return home? Here they come. The police are here. Conan was surprised. He didn't expect the police to come so quickly this time. Toyama Tobi walked to the door and tried to observe the person knocking on the door through the door mirror. He unexpectedly found that the door mirror on the door was blocked. Blocking the door mirror? Toyama Tobi's experience in 2 lifetimes showed that blocking the door mirror when someone knocks on the door is either a prank by an acquaintance or the person outside has bad intentions. Generally, the best way in this case is not to open the door. If possible, it is best to lock the door directly. But now Toyama Tobi is skilled and daring. He really wants to see who is outside the door. To be honest, he has a guess in his mind at this moment. Although Ikazuo Yuko was blocked by them in Akino Yoko's house, there is still a body missing. He was the strong-willed man who chose to commit suicide in Yoko Akino's house because of some misunderstandings. Yoko Akino was blind and found her first love. My first love girlfriend became a big star and I regretted it and went to her to get back together. Although I didn't find the real person, of course. Even if I found the real person, the family might not be willing to get back together with me. So I prepared to leave the deepest impression on him. I decided to die in her house. I also have to frame her for killing me. Yuan Shinfei felt that it was not an exaggeration to say that Yoko Akino was blind back then. Isn't this typical that, since I can't get you, I have to destroy you? The door slowly opened, revealing the man standing outside the door. The man looked like an ordinary person on the surface, and even a little introverted and cowardly from the appearance. The moment the door opened, the man said, Yoko, I. The man widened his eyes in an attempt to make himself look more sincere, but when he widened his eyes, he was shocked to find that the person standing at the door was not Yoko Akino as he imagined, but a man he didn't know at all. There was no sign of Yoko in the room, but a middle-aged man, a high school girl and an elementary school student in his arms. What? Did we go to the wrong place? This was Fujiaki Ayoshi's first reaction. If Toyama Tobi was the only one in the house, he would probably think that Toyama Tobi was Yoko Akino's new boyfriend. But now there were people of all ages in the room, and Fujiaki Ayoshi would only have the idea that he went to the wrong room. Smith Marcel. I went to the wrong house. Fujiaki Ayoshi apologized, but in his heart he cursed the person who sold him Yoko Akino's address. This was Yoko's address that he bought at a high price, but he didn't expect to be deceived. Just when Fujiaki Ayoshi was about to leave, Toyama Tobi suddenly called him. Are you here to look for Miss Yoko Akino? Huh? How do you know? Fujiaki Ayoshi looked at Toyama Tobi unexpectedly, and before he could finish his words, Toyama Tobi suddenly reached out and grabbed the collar on his chest and pulled him into the room. After Fujiaki Ayoshi was dragged into the room, Mauri Goro immediately stepped forward to cooperate with Toyama Tobi to subdue the strange man. They were so tacit. Then the two looked at each other and at the same time dragged the controlled Fujiaki Ayoshi into the bedroom again. Conan's mind was full of question marks at this moment. Is this place the home of the popular idol Akino Yoko? But the woman just now was obviously not Akino Yoko. What's the matter with this man? Uncle, is the tacit understanding between you and Toyama Tobi a little too high? Why are your movements so skillful? Conan suddenly realized that his call to the police just now seemed a bit hasty. It turned out that you, a member of the black organization, actually came here to solve the commission instead of solving the client. Just when Conan was thinking about how to cancel the call to the police just now, there was another knock on the door of the apartment. Of course, the person knocking on the door this time reported his identity. Is anyone there? Is anyone there? We are police officers from the 1st Investigation Division. We received a call and came here to check. Please open the door. Conan's mouth twitched when he heard the sound at the door. It's over. The police are here. Dad, Mr. Toyama, there are police knocking at the door. Xiaolan called to the two brothers in the bedroom. Police, knocking? Toyama Tobi and Maori Kagoro looked at each other and saw confusion in each other's eyes. They didn't have anything to do, so why did the police come to the door? So the two decided to go out and see what was going on. When Toyama Tobi opened the door of the apartment, two surprised voices came from the door. Brother Maori, Toyama? The visitors were Major Juzen from the Metropolitan Police Department's Investigation Division and Toyama's direct leader Sato Miwako in the Metropolitan Police Department. Officer Major, Officer Sato? After realizing that everyone at the scene was familiar, the scene suddenly became very harmonious. Major Juzen and Sato Miwako immediately thought that there must be some misunderstanding in the call to the police. But the sense of responsibility of the police still made them question Toyama Tobi and Maori Kagoro. Brother Maori, why are you here? Major Juzen asked. Well, I came here to help Brother Toyama, that is, to solve the commission. Brother Toyama is a novice detective, so it is normal for me to give some advice on the side. Oh. Major Juzen looked at Toyama Tobi with suspicion, and this glance immediately made Major Juzen like him more. The young man is handsome, and he is not a bad guy at first glance. And he always feels that this young man seems a little familiar. Mr. Toyama is the one who bravely rescued the little girl in the kidnapping case yesterday, Sato Miwako reminded Major Juzen. Major Juzen suddenly realized, oh, it turned out to be Brother Toyama. Hey, the flood has washed away the Dragon King temple, and the family doesn't recognize each other anymore. Under Conan's surprised gaze, Toyama Tobi quickly became familiar with all the detectives present. Even these policemen were more enthusiastic about Toyama Tobi than they were to him at the beginning. What's going on? What's going on? Exclamation mark. You are the police I called. Why do I feel that your investigation target has completely gone astray? In less than half an hour, Toyama Tobi was already on good terms with all the detectives present. He was truly a social gangster. Sato Miwako was the only one present who was not fooled by Toyama Tobi's male beauty and still remembered the reason why they came here. So Toyama, what commission are you here to solve? By the way, where is the client? Sato Miwako, who was speechless about the group of useless men around her, asked Toyama Tobi. It's like this. This commission was introduced to me by Tanya Kiko's father, the father of the kidnapped little girl. Toyama Tobi lowered his voice and said to Sato Miwako, this is the home of the popular idol Akino Yoko. Let's say something elegant. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 15, Eating Melons is Human Nature. Toyama Tobi briefly explained to Sato Miwako the origin of his commission. Otherwise, it would be impossible for a novice detective like him to receive a commission from a well-known person like Akino Yoko. After explaining the source of the commission, Toyama Tobi talked about the content of the commission. The specific commission is this. My client, Ms. Akino Yoko, has been harassed frequently in recent times, including but not limited to being monitored, burglars, receiving secretly taken photos, receiving silent phone calls, etc. Since this type of harassment is not easy for the police to handle, they commissioned me to investigate the harassment incident. Sato Miwako nodded and smiled encouragingly. Toyama Tobi, a novice detective, can receive such a commission, which is definitely a great start for his detective career. Now it seems that Toyama Tobi is not only lucky, but also mature in his thinking. Faced with such a commission, Toyama Tobi found an experienced detective like Maori Kagoro to help. I think this commission should go smoothly, right? It should be said that it went very smoothly. Toyama Tobi brought a group of detectives to the closed bedroom door. When the bedroom door opened, Conan, who followed everyone, saw the scene inside for the first time. Yuko Ikazawa collapsed on the ground with her eyes blank, and there was a man tied up beside her. What is this? Sato Miwako was very shocked and subconsciously looked at Toyama Tobi. You shouldn't have done it this time, right? It can be seen how much psychological trauma Sato Miwako had suffered from the consequences of Toyama Tobi's last heroic act. Don't worry, I didn't touch her. She was just scared. I didn't expect that just scaring her a little would turn out like this. Toyama Tobi never mentioned the greeting gift she left when she met Yuko Ikazawa. Seeing the arrival of a group of police officers, Yuko Ikazawa burst into tears and struggled to get up, hoping that the police would arrest her quickly. Although Toyama Tobi kept saying that he was just scaring her just now, Yuko Ikazawa always felt that Toyama Tobi was not just scaring her. This Miss Ikazawa Yuko is a culprit for the harassment my client has suffered recently. Toyama Tobi handed the video recorder to Sato Miwako. It contains Miss Ikazawa's confession statement, including that she stole my client's door key, bribed the agent not to change the door lock for the time being, and sold the client's address information. There is also a legal invasion of private residences. Toyama Tobi was very surprised when she saw this episode in her previous life. Obviously, her own key was lost, and as a public figure, why didn't she quickly change the door lock instead of waiting for someone to break in? It was not until just now that Toyama Tobi realized that there was a traitor around Akino Yoko. As soon as Toyama Tobi finished speaking, a detective arrested Ikazawa Yuko and gave Toyama Tobi a friendly look. Well, the characteristics of this flower of the Metropolitan Police Department are really good. From now on, Toyama Tobi can completely call herself the succubus of the Metropolitan Police Department. Sato Miwako pointed at Fujiaki Aoshi, who was tied up. What about him? What's wrong with him? Toyama Tobi explained. This is the stalker who bought my client's address from Ikazawa Yuko. He just appeared at the door, but I got him in before he could do anything. I think you need to interrogate him carefully. Maybe you can find out something. I'm not a dangerous person. I'm Yoko's first love boyfriend. I came here to get back together with Yoko. When Fujiaki Ayoshi's mouth was released, he immediately revealed his identity. His statement made everyone in the room look at each other in surprise. Ms. Yoko's first love boyfriend? You? Don't be ridiculous. Maori Kagoro was the first to react, and he immediately showed disdain for Fujiaki Aoshi. In Maori Kagoro's view, Fujiaki Aoshi was just an ordinary person who might not be found, even if thrown into a crowd. Why would such a person be Miss Yoko's first love boyfriend? Just when Maori Kagoro was about to continue to mock Fujiaki Aoshi, a very nice female voice came from behind. What he said is true. He was indeed my first love. The people who came were Yoko Akino and her agent, Iichi Yamagishi. After Yoko Akino entered the bedroom, she nodded gratefully to Toyama Tobi. Toyama Tobi was recommended to Yoko Akino by her father at a cocktail party. With a tried-out mentality, Yoko Akino revealed her recent troubles to Toyama Tobi. Unexpectedly, Toyama Tobi's efficiency was so high. The commission was issued in the afternoon, and the person was caught in the evening. There was even a buy one get one free deal. But Yoko Akino's agent, Iichi Yamagishi, was not so kind to Toyama Tobi. Toyama Tobi brought a lot of negative news to Yoko Akino, and even Yoko's first love was dug out. If he hadn't been defeated, Iichi Yamagishi would have wanted to teach this unruly newcomer a lesson. Toyama Tobi ignored Iichi Yamagishi's angry glare. Don't think this guy can still show off his power now. At this moment, there are already two detectives standing behind him. They are just afraid that he will run away soon. Still a manager. It's lucky that Yamagishi Iichi didn't go to jail. He teamed up with outsiders to murder his own artist. Even if he didn't go to jail, he couldn't continue to work as a manager in the future. People who betray their own people will not have a good end. The arrival of Akino Yoko calmed down the scene. He walked in front of Fujiaki Aoshi and asked Yoko Akino, "Didn't you break up with me in the beginning?" "It was because Mr. Manager asked me to break up with you, Yoko." Fujiaki Ayoshi's voice was like the cry of a cuckoo, so desolate that people couldn't help but feel sympathy. It's a pity that there are always people who spoil the mood in this room, such as Toyama Tobi. Hearing Fujiaki Ayoshi's words, Toyama Tobi was not moved at all. Instead, he looked at Yamaja Shiichi, who looked a little ugly. "Mr. Agent, did you just persuade him to leave Miss Yoko with empty words?" Toyama Tobi's words awakened the dreamer, and Yamaja Shiichi immediately began to show his true face. "Mr. Toyama is right. Yoko took the money at that time. The reason why he broke up with you at that time was because he took my money." Hearing Yamaja Shiichi's words, Fujiaki Ayoshi's face turned pale, and a trace of disappointment appeared in Akino Yoko's eyes. First love is always special for both men and women. After becoming famous, Akino Yoko is used to seeing all kinds of successful men. In fact, she may not be attracted to Fujiaki Ayoshi, who is so ordinary that she can't be more ordinary. But people always hope that their first love is beautiful. Breaking up because of money. Akino Yoko laughed at herself. Fujiaki Ayoshi could choose to break up with her because of money, so why did he find her now? The answer seems obvious. The update time will probably be stable in the future. One chapter at 0 AM and one chapter at 8 AM. If it is recommended, I will add one chapter on the same day. Dear readers, please follow me. Chapter 16 Sato's Mission. The investigation commissioned by Yoko Akino is over. In this commission, Yoko Akino lost a competitor, eliminated a potential risk that could explode at any time, and fired an unreliable agent. In general, Yoko Akino made a profit from this commission. After the incident, Toyama Tobi and the Mori family were taken to the Metropolitan Police Department for record. Toyama Tobi could clearly feel that the police officers of the 1st Investigation Division were much more enthusiastic about him when he came to the Metropolitan Police Department this time. It felt like going home. Toyama Tobi felt like he was going home, but Conan was completely different. Conan sadly discovered that the relationship between Toyama Tobi, a guy from the black organization, and the police was even better than when he was Shinichi Kudo. Especially Officer Megia, who called him Brother Toyama more affectionately than he called himself at the beginning. Conan then realized the difficulty of Toyama Tobi. This guy has a very good relationship with the police. If there is no solid evidence, no one will believe that he is a member of a criminal organization. Conan is facing the most difficult opponent since his debut. Toyama Tobi followed the Maori family to the downstairs of the office. He needed to go to the Rice Flower Hotel, and this place was just on the way. "Brother Toyama, do you want to come up and have a drink?" Maori Kagoro invited enthusiastically. I was going to have a night of drinking with Toyama Tobi. This brother is really a kind person. He knew that I was a fan of Yoko Akino and took me to see the real person. Maori Kagoro touched the autographed photo in his hand and his favorability towards Toyama Tobi increased rapidly. For Maori Kagoro, you are a good person if you take him to see beautiful women, and you are a great person if you take him to drink. If you take him to drink and take him to see Yoko Akino, it's settled. You are his half-brother. Come on, Conan, count out your Uncle Toyama. Forget it, Brother Maori, it's too late today. Another day, let's get drunk again. Toyama Tobi declined Maori Kagoro's proposal. Okay, let's do it another day. Maori Kagoro and Zyalin said goodbye to Toyama Tobi. When Conan went upstairs, he was the last one among the three. Seeing that Conan was about to go upstairs and leave, Toyama Tobi gently called out, "Conan." "Ah." Conan turned his head in confusion. Toyama Tobi smiled slightly and made a phone call gesture. "I asked the police officers of the investigation section to check where the alarm call came from." Conan was shocked when he heard it. "Where is it?" It was from Miss Yoko's house. At this moment, Conan felt that a pair of big hands were tightly grasping his heart, making him unable to say a word. After a long silence, Toyama Tobi smiled. "Haha, I lied to you. How could the police officers of the investigation section break the rules and help me check this kind of thing? Okay, I'm leaving. Have a good sleep, Conan." Toyama Tobi waved to Conan and walked out of the office. Looking at Toyama Tobi's receding back, Conan was speechless for a long time. Was what Toyama Tobi said just now really just a joke? Would the police officers of the 1st Investigation Division really not help Toyama Tobi with illegal investigations? Conan was confused. If it was just a joke, How could they only call him? How could they accurately say that it was Miss Yoko's family who called the police? Looking at the familiar attitude of the detectives of the 1st Investigation Division and Toyama Tobi, if Toyama Tobi needed help, would they really not check? Conan couldn't get an accurate conclusion, but he knew that tonight would definitely be a sleepless night. It's ironic to have a good sleep. And what was Toyama Tobi, who scared Conan so much that he couldn't sleep at night, doing at this moment? Toyama Tobi was checking the task that Sato Miwako had just issued to him at the Metropolitan Police Department. System prompt: you have received a new task issued by your direct supervisor Sato Miwako. Sato Miwako's task: today, there is intelligence showing that a gang of robbers from Italy has smuggled to Tokyo, Japan. Your direct supervisor Sato Miwako is distressed by the robber group that has no trace or clues. Find them and bring them to Sato Miwako. You will get the driving skills from the Screaming Witch in the Mist. The Screaming Witch in the Mist. Isn't that the nickname of Officer Sato? Toyama Tobi said honestly that Toyama Tobi is very jealous of Sato Miwako's driving skills. Toyama Tobi actually knows how to drive, but he has never driven since he came to the Conan world. Not having a car is one thing, and the other is that Japanese cars are all right-hand drive, which is not friendly to Toyama Tobi, who is used to left-hand drive. Sato Miwako's driving skills can be ranked in the entire Conan world. Above them is the scientific driving of Murotoru. Although Toyama Tobi is jealous of Murotoru's driving skills, he can't get them for the time being. Vodka's driving skills are also good, but he is more stable. If Toyama Tobi is asked to choose between Vodka and Sato Miwako, he will certainly choose Sato Miwako's driving skills. As for the robber group in the mission issued by Sato Miwako, it should be the Metropolitan Code Map incident in the early episodes of Conan. For Toyama Tobi, this is a 3-point question. However, Toyama Tobi suddenly remembered that the robber group in the Code Map incident was not only from Italy. Among them, 15,000 stolen maple leaf gold coins were also secretly transported to Tokyo by them. As the saying goes, if you don't take what God gives you, you will suffer the consequences. Even if the police get these 15,000 maple leaf gold coins, they can only return them to the owner in the end. It would be better to let Toyama Tobi rob the rich and help the poor. Toyama Tobi, who traveled alone to the Conan world and had no house, no car, and no savings, fits the poor in robbing the rich and helping the poor, no matter how you look at it. Of course, if he can get another mission from the organization, it would be perfect. So Toyama Tobi picked up his phone and found Jin's contact information in the email. Brother Jin, am I asleep? Toyama Tobi speak. Jin brother, I have received a long-term mission from Rum, but I can't complete it in a short time. Do you have any mission for me to do? Toyama Tobi, for example, I can rob a bank, etc. Toyama Tobi Jin looked at the screen of his mobile phone, the 3 identical words rob a bank, and bit the cigarette, but in his mouth. Is there something wrong with this person? Why is he so obsessed with robbing a bank? However, it is a good thing that Toyama Tobi has such subjective initiative. When Jin thinks of his unreliable subordinates and colleagues who can only fish and swim, he has the urge to pull out a gun and kill people. If all the tasks are piled on him, what's the point of the organization having so many members? Since Toyama Tobi wants to share his worries, Jin thought about the task given to Toyama Tobi by Rum and replied. Chapter 17, Killing 2 birds with 1 fish. Big brother is big brother after all. Big brother Jin is as generous as ever, which makes Toyama Tobi like him crazily in his heart. As expected, Toyama Tobi got a long-term task of raising funds for the organization from Big Brother Jin. As the name suggests, the task is to raise necessary scientific research funds for the black organization through various means. When Toyama Tobi learned that Big Brother Jin went to work in the wind and rain all day long, and worked without sleep for scientific research, he almost shed tears of emotion. Inspirational, so inspirational. A top killer of a criminal group, who kills, sets fires and extorts all day long, actually raises funds for the progress of human science. Toyama Tobi even felt that he suddenly became noble. Because Toyama Tobi also shoulders the task of becoming a police informant issued by Rum, Jin has imposed some restrictions on Toyama Tobi's task of raising funds. For example, Toyama Tobi cannot rob a bank in person. For example, some criminal acts that are easy to expose one's identity and are exposed are prohibited. As an informant for the police, it cannot be said that he can completely avoid committing crimes, but at least he cannot commit serious crimes. Toyama Tobi cannot do any big jobs such as extortion, kidnapping, murder, and bank robbery. Of course, this is exactly what Toyama Tobi wants. For a worker, the definition of work is to pay one's own labor and then get the corresponding compensation for survival. This is called work. So what is making money? It means that you don't have to pay your own labor, but you still have income. This is called making money. Of course, people in today's society have given such behavior a nice name called fishing. The bank robbery that I talked about with Jin before was just Toyama Tobi teasing him. Although the bank security in Beaker Town can be described as a layer of window paper, anyone can break it directly. But the energy consumed in planning a bank robbery is really too great, and for Toyama Tobi, the effort and reward are not proportional. It just so happened that Toyama Tobi had just obtained the authority of the organization's intelligence support from Rum. In this way, a simple assembly line for completing the task was built. First, Toyama Tobi needed to select the bank gangs that he could deal with from the organization's intelligence support. Then, through a reverse reconnaissance, he found out the action plan of the robbery gang. Then, Toyama Tobi only needed to watch the bank being robbed quietly, and the robbers successfully escaped, and his plan was half successful. When the robbers settled down with the money robbed from the bank, Toyama Tobi immediately notified Jin and asked him to send someone to steal from the robbers. Toyama Tobi only needed to detain a part of the trophies as his kickbacks, and it would not take long to make a lot of money. Finally, while organizing the robbery, Toyama Tobi contacted Sato and then revealed the news of the robbers to the police. After the organization's personnel evacuated, the police directly connected seamlessly. As a news provider, Toyama Tobi can also brush the favorability of the Metropolitan Police Department. As for this wave of robbers, Brother Jin is satisfied, Rum is satisfied, Sato is satisfied, and Toyama Tobi himself is satisfied. As for whether the robbers who were first robbed of their hard-earned money by the gangsters and then arrested by the police on the spot are satisfied, it doesn't matter at all. Toyama Tobi is not God. He can't satisfy everyone's wishes. Besides, praying to God doesn't work most of the time. The priest doesn't like to pray now, but only likes the little boy with a cute face. After some planning, Toyama Tobi felt that his plan was perfect. Not only was it rigorous, but it was also very feasible. Toyama Tobi thought it would be best if he could get a long-term task like the one issued by Brother Jin from Sato, which can be settled at free time. Toyama Tobi can choose to settle this long-term task issued by Jin at any time. It can be settled when the first sum of funds is handed in, or it can be accumulated all the time. Of course, the reward of the task is also linked to the amount of funds handed in by Toyama Tobi. The more funds handed in, the richer the reward for Toyama Tobi. It is worth mentioning that the one who gave out the reward was Jin. Jin's skills, except for his addiction to smoking. Toyama Tobi has always been envious. So if you want to get a long-term task from Sato, you need to establish a deeper level of trust between the two parties. That requires Toyama Tobi to find the Italian robber group hiding somewhere in Tokyo as soon as possible. The next day, Toyama Tobi noticed the news on TV that the leader of the Italian robber group, Cabane, had been arrested in a building near the Tokyo Tower. This means that there is not much time left before the Metropolitan Code Map incident begins. For the next 3 days, Toyama Tobi has been soaking himself in the Taodao Art Museum. According to Toyama Tobi's recollection, the beginning of this incident was that the juvenile suicide group picked up the lost treasure map of the robber group outside the art museum. Unfortunately, after 3 days, Toyama Tobi still didn't find the 3 smart guys. Just when Toyama Tobi was about to walk around the art museum until his waist and knees were sore, an old man with a kind face and a long beard patted Toyama Tobi on the shoulder. "Young man, you seem to like visiting art galleries?" "Ah, I'm fine. Who are you?" Yuan Shenfei was suddenly called and was stunned. He turned around and looked at the old man behind him. The old man touched his beard and said with a smile, "I'm just an old man who likes to visit art galleries." Seeing that you have been here for several days in a row, I came up to talk to you. How about it? The exhibits here are very good, right?" After the old man said this, he turned around and looked at the exhibits on both sides with a smile, his eyes full of the joy of seeing the items he liked. Yuan Shenfei, who was infected by the old man in front of him, smiled and nodded. Yes, these are all great works of art. Although Yuan Shenfei has been waiting for the other 3 members of the Italian robber group in the art gallery every day for the past 3 days. But in fact, most of the time, Yuan Shenfei's attention is on these exhibits. In his previous life, Yuan Shenfei liked to visit local museums and art galleries wherever he traveled. Now that he has come to another world, Yuan Shenfei will naturally not miss such a good opportunity. It seems that you really like them. Young people like you are rare. The old man seemed to simply come up to say hello to Yuan Shenfei. Now he was ready to leave after saying hello. Before leaving, the old man suddenly said, "If you have time, you can go to the Bihar Art Museum. The exhibits there are also some works of art that are not inferior to this place. Take advantage of it while it is still open." The old man nodded to Yuan Shenfei and walked out of the art museum while speaking. It seemed that he was speaking to Yuan Shenfei, and it seemed that he was also speaking to himself. Looking at the old man's receding back, Yuan Shenfei was a little dazed. For some reason, the old man's state just now made Yuan Shenfei look a little familiar. Before Yuan Shenfei could think about it, he suddenly saw a group of 3 people in the square in front of the art museum who were out of tune with the people around them. Chapter 18 Conan's Second Fear. I see you. With the target in front of him, Toyama Tobi temporarily gave up trying to recall where he had seen the old man. Instead, he turned his attention to the 3 people, who didn't look very smart. 2 foreigners and 1 Japanese. They seemed to be looking for something in the square. Has the code map been lost? Sure enough, when Toyama Tobi and the no-brain looked around, they saw the code fluttering in the wind in the hand of a little fat man. Just when Toyama Tobi discovered the code in Kojima Genta's hand, the no-brain also discovered the piece of paper waved by the little fat man. One of the no-brain was about to take the paper back, but was stopped by the Japanese in the group. It seemed that they couldn't decipher the code on it, so they were going to let this group of elementary school students try. Excuse me? Are you serious? Seeing such an explosive scene from a distance, Toyama Tobi was silent. In his 2 lifetimes, he has actually seen all kinds of people. Isn't there a saying that people have 3 hurdles in their lives? One is to accept the mediocrity of parents, the other is to accept your own mediocrity, and finally to accept the mediocrity of children. I have seen Toyama Tobi who accepts the mediocrity of parents, and I have also seen many Toyama Tobi who accept their own mediocrity. But I feel that my IQ is not as good as that of a few first grade elementary school students. To be honest, this is the first time I have seen Toyama Tobi. This wave of extreme explosive operations made Toyama Tobi wonder how this group of people robbed more than 10,000 maple leaf gold coins in Italy in the first place. Could it be that the place they robbed deliberately let out water when they robbed in order to settle the account? Is it the series of waiting for a long time and finally waiting until today? Witnessed by Toyama Tobi, Dangdu Art Museum and the brainless trio, Conan and his 3 classmates established the boys' detective group. From then on, he began his daily life of committing suicide. No, it should be that Conan was forced to agree to join the youth suicide group. The first team building of the youth gang was located to find the treasure on the code map. The elementary school students shouted slogans and marched in an orderly manner towards the Dangdu Tower. At this moment, they left the art gallery square without noticing that the 3 men in black had caught up with them. Looking at the famous scene in front of him, Toyama Tobi sighed. Conan, you are really careless. Didn't my brother and my 2 stunners make you a little alert behind you? Toyama Tobi did not follow the brainless group, but found a place to have a nice lunch. Then he came to a Sakura bookstore to wait. More than an hour later, Conan and his 3 freshly baked pig teammates really appeared in the bookstore. The 3 real elementary school students completely forgot about treasure hunting as soon as they entered the bookstore, holding comic books and reading them with relish. Only Conan was holding a thick English dictionary and trying hard to find the answer. After a long time, Conan, who couldn't find the answer, chose to give up. At this time, Toyama Tobi stood up, took the Italian dictionary he had found early in the morning, and walked towards Conan. "Hey Conan, see you again." Toyama Tobi walked to Conan and greeted him with a smile. "It's you." Conan's black clothes stress reaction started with Jin, but it was made worse by Toyama Tobi. At this time, when Conan suddenly saw Toyama Tobi in black clothes, he suddenly became alert. "What are you doing? Don't be so nervous, Conan. I'm not a bad guy." The more nervous Conan was, the more excited Toyama Tobi was. In the open card duel with Conan, Toyama Tobi found the real happiness he had not seen for a long time. "You seem to be very distressed. Let me help you a little." Toyama Tobi handed the Italian dictionary in his hand to Conan. "Although it is not the Bible, the way to salvation is in it." Toyama Tobi said a line from a movie that was irrelevant to Conan, and then took the code in his hand and took a look. "It's a good code. I guess you will have a very fulfilling day today. Enjoy a good time with your friends." Toyama Tobi remembered the code and returned it to Conan. Then he left lightly without disturbing anyone. As for Conan's pig teammates, they were still immersed in the happiness brought to them by comics and could not extricate themselves. Looking at the back of Toyama Tobi leaving, Conan felt a little puzzled. Is this person sick? Does he know what I'm looking for? Conan looked at the Italian dictionary in his hand and suddenly felt that it was okay to give it a try. Just as Conan was about to open the catalog, the bookmark in the dictionary forced Conan to directly see the content marked by Toyama Tobi. "Oro means money in gold?" Exclamation mark. "Then this code is it." The sudden answer made Conan's brain crash for a moment. He never expected that the note he picked up casually in the art gallery square was actually a treasure map. Wait. Just as Conan was about to put the dictionary back, a huge fear instantly enveloped him. Why? Why did Toyama Tobi know what I wanted to look up? Why did he mark this dictionary with a bookmark? Exclamation mark. Conan's clever little head quickly deduced many possibilities, such as Toyama Tobi had been following him. For example, Toyama Tobi had been investigating him. For example, Toyama Tobi's eyes had never left him. Conan didn't know what Toyama Tobi wanted to do, which was undoubtedly the most frightening thing for him. Known things are never scary, and the unknown is always the most frightening existence. Looking at the dictionary in his hand, Conan fell into confused fear again. Facing an enemy with unknown behavior logic, Conan couldn't reason about his next move. For Conan, this was not only a threat to him, but also a threat to Malrika Goro and Xiaolan. If he implicated the uncle and Xiaolan because of himself, Conan suddenly began to question whether his decision to live in Maori's house was right or wrong. "Conan, are you okay?" Little Lalita Yoshida Ayumi came to Conan and looked at him worriedly. Just now, when she peeked at Conan, she suddenly found that Conan's expression was so ugly that it was scary. For a while, Yoshida Ayumi thought Conan was not feeling well, so she hurriedly sent her childish concern. "No, it's okay, I'm fine." Conan, who was awakened from fear by Yoshida Ayumi, gave the little Lalita a grateful smile. Then he looked at the secret code in his hand. Conan figured it out again. No matter what Toyama Tobi wants to do, he probably can't stop it. But the less you do, the fewer mistakes you make. The more mistakes you make, the more mistakes you make. As long as you keep an eye on him, you will find his omissions one day. That will be the time for your counterattack. As for now, Conan thinks Toyama Tobi's target should be the coded map in his hand. It seems that guy is not good at cracking codes. Chapter 19. What, 12,000? Isn't it only 6,000? As night fell, the lights came on. Master Fu, who had been busy all day, was moving boxes of maple leaf gold coins into his car. The gold coins in the boxes were not light, but Master Fu did not feel tired at all. 5-star General MacArthur once commented that, if he was asked to hold 100 kilograms of documents, he would probably feel back pain, numb legs and weak shoulders. But if he was asked to carry 100 kilograms of banknotes, he would definitely be able to walk briskly. Of course, if he held 100 kilograms of banknotes and 100 kilograms of beauties at the same time, he would let you know that 200 kilograms is only the limit of beauties and banknotes, but this is not his limit. After delivering all 12,000 maple leaf gold coins to the car, Vodka waved to the other peripheral members in black and then sat in the driver's seat. With the sound of the engine starting, Vodka took advantage of the night to leave the building of Mingjiu Giyang Company. In Japanese, Mingjiu probably means famous brand wine, expensive wine. So the Mingjiu Giyang on the sign of this building probably means a famous brand wine called Giyang. It is not difficult to see that this is the office building of a liquor company. After driving out of the street, Vodka completely ignored the road safety driving rules and drove while talking on the phone. The person he was talking to was none other than Toyama Tobi, a new member of the organization whom he had met several times before and whom he admired a little. Seeing that Vodka was calling him, Toyama Tobi chuckled and answered the phone. "Brother Vodka? Have you got all the maple leaf gold coins on the upper floor of that company?" Vodka was very satisfied with Toyama Tobi's knowledge of the times, but he said, "In the organization, you only need to call Brother Gin brother. As for me, just call me by my code name." "How can that be? How about this? I'll just call you Senior Vodka by the way. Senior Vodka, has the plan I reported to Brother Gin and the ML before been approved?" As the saying goes, more courtesy is better, and just saying a few nice words can make everyone feel good, so why not do it? Vodka was even more satisfied when he heard this. Most members of the organization only regarded him as the driver of Brother Gin. Although this was indeed the case, but as the owner of the codename Vodka, he also had dignity. Who among those who could get their own codename in the organization did not make great contributions and survive many dangers to get promoted? Although Vodka usually did not care about such rumors, he had been unhappy about this phenomenon for a long time. Facts have proved that people tend to get carried away when they are happy, and they tend to make random wishes when they are carried away. Vodka said casually into the phone, "Don't worry, Yuanshin. Leave your plan to me. I have arranged peripheral members in the Mingjiu Giyang building. It's time to start the action now." Vodka looked at the neatly stacked black boxes on the back seat with a little envy and said, "As for the 12,000 maple leaf gold coins you are going to hand over to the organization, don't worry, I will hand it over to you as soon as I get back." "What 12,000 maple leaf gold coins?" "They were stolen by that group of Italian robbers." Vodka was interrupted by Yuan Shenfei before he finished speaking. "But aren't there only 6,000 gold coins? How could there be only 6,000? I saw it with my own eyes." Vodka suddenly stopped talking here. Then he swallowed hard and then asked tentatively, "Yuanshin, what do you mean?" Yuan Shenfei played with the gold coins in his hand and said to Vodka meaningfully, "Senior Vodka, I think with the IQ of the Italian robber group, they definitely can't rob 15,000 maple leaf gold coins. The reason why so many were exposed must be that there is something fishy about the Italian bank. Maybe this robbery was just something they did to settle the account. 6,000 maple leaf gold coins. I think it's just the real level of this group of stupid robbers. What do you think?" I think brother Yuanshin, you are so smart." "That's right, the truth must be what you deduced. Brother Yuanshin, I think your reasoning level is not much different from those famous detectives on the market." Vodka's face was smiling like a blooming old chrysanthemum at this moment, which was so brilliant. At the same time, compliments came to Yuan Shenfei on the other end of the phone, as if they were free. "Don't say that Yuan Shenfei is just a new member of the organization. Now brother Yuanshin is my Vodka's biological adoptive father. Godfather. Vodka has been wandering for half his life without meeting a wise master. If you don't abandon me, I'm willing to be your adoptive father. Godfather Yuanshin, if there is such a profitable business next time, you must call me Zaofu." Feeling the happiness from the heart of Vodka, Yuan Shenfei also showed a satisfied smile. "Oh, Senior Vodka is really flattering. I'm just a little detective who just changed my career. How can I deserve such praise from Senior Vodka? Don't worry, if there is such an opportunity again, I will never forget you." Senior Vodka. One of Yuan Shenfei's workplace rules is that if you can get benefits in a certain business, then this benefit cannot be taken by only you. As the saying goes, it is not the lack of, but the inequality of benefits. If only one person takes it for a long time, naturally someone will be jealous. So it is important to drag everyone into the water. We are all people in the same boat. If you, vodka, don't take it, how can Brother Jin take it? If Brother Jin doesn't take it, how can I, Yuan Shenfei, take it? Only when everyone takes it, can Toyama Tobi improve his living conditions and continue to make progress with the help of Brother Jin. After Toyama Tobi finished painting a big picture for Vodka, he did not forget to remind him, by the way, Senior Vodka, I definitely believe in your ability to do things, otherwise Brother Jin would not have taken you as his confidant. But I'm not very confident about those peripheral members below, so I have to trouble you to remind them. After hearing this, Vodka patted his chest and promised Toyama Tobi that he would definitely make those guys pay attention, and then politely ended the call with Toyama Tobi. After hanging up the phone, Vodka called the peripheral members of the Mingjiugyang building. The tone of the call was completely different. Listen to me, you bastards. This plan was planned by my brother Toyama. Toyama is my closest brother and a member that Brother Jin has chosen. If you fail, watch out for your heads. The undisguised threat made all the peripheral members feel a chill in their hearts. The peripheral member who answered the phone was even more busy assuring Vodka that they would never ruin the good deeds of Lord Toyama. After the call was hung up, the peripheral members dared to relax a little. The peripheral member who was responsible for answering the phone drew out a dagger and said helplessly to other colleagues, I'm sorry, for our lives, everyone, let's sacrifice. As he said that, he first stabbed himself, then picked up a bag of stones on the ground and started to chop at others. The other peripheral members followed suit, and soon there was a lot of blood on the top floor of the Mingjiugyang building. Chapter 20 Good People Far Away. The Canadian Maple Leaf Gold Coin is produced by the Royal Canadian Mint and has been issued since 1979. The Canadian national emblem, the maple leaf, is fixed as the pattern. The only thing that changes every year is the year of issuance. In the world precious metal currency market, the charm and image of the maple leaf are unique and popular all over the world and are praised as a model. At the same time, the Canadian Maple Leaf Gold Coin is also the most widely circulated precious metal currency in the world. This means that the 3000 Maple Leaf Gold Coins in Yuan Shenfei's hands are very easy to sell. How easy are these Maple Leaf Gold Coins to sell? Let's put it this way. In just one afternoon, Yuan Shenfei went to several places. The 3000 Maple Leaf Gold Coins in his hands were basically sold out, and the price was not even suppressed. Even if Yuan Shenfei disguised himself when trading with others, even if the buyers knew that the source of these gold coins was unknown, they still did not suppress the price too much. The reason is simple. These maple leaf gold coins have high liquidity and high holdings. Because they are precious metal currencies, their value is very strong. They are all standard stuff, and no one can find out the source of these stuff after they have been passed through several hands. At this time, if the price is pushed down to the limit, at the least, Toyama Tobi will cancel the transaction directly, and at the worst, the person will be gone. Regardless of whether Toyama Tobi is one of the robbers who robbed the Italian bank, these people with dirty hands do not want to offend them. The barefoot are not afraid of the ones wearing shoes. Compared with the robbers and the people who collect the stolen goods, the barefoot ones are the ones. Especially Toyama Tobi is still a new face. They are all 1000-year-old vixens. Who is willing to be cannon fodder for their colleagues? 29.99 gold coins exchanged for 100 million yen, which is a sudden wealth for Toyama Tobi. However, wealth is nothing to Toyama Tobi now, and those neatly arranged yen are not even as attractive to him as Conan. After finding a bank to deposit the box of cash in the safe, Toyama Tobi found Conan and his party again in the vast crowd. Of course, there is also the brainless group hanging behind them. Conan's belief that Toyama Tobi is not proficient in code reasoning is actually wrong. At least after Toyama Tobi received Rum's special reward, his reasoning ability improved more than a little. In addition, there was the impression of the plot in the previous life. The secret code in Conan's hand was like a seemingly difficult question to Toyama Tobi. The questioner not only marked the formulas and theorems that needed to be used, he even put the solution ideas on it. All Toyama Tobi had to do was to solve the question step by step. This was not difficult for Toyama Tobi at all. So after parting with Conan in the bookstore, Toyama Tobi found the place where Cabane hid the gold coins. He took away 3,000 gold coins first, and then divided the remaining 12,000 coins into half for gin and half for vodka. In this way, everyone got money, and the organization also got an extra scientific research fund that did not need to launder money. In the end, only the brainless trio were hurt. Well, anyway, they couldn't find these gold coins by themselves, so rounding it off meant that they didn't lose much. It was another happy situation. Toyama Tobi said that he was really a very good person. So, the good man Yuanshin is now ready to do something good. After a series of twists and turns and running around, Conan finally brought his teammates to the Mengjiugiang building. Facing the treasure location so close, Conan smiled confidently. No mistake, it must be no mistake this time. With his teammates to the top floor of the building, Conan walked into the dark warehouse. The elementary school students also rushed in and had fun in the warehouse, looking left and right. In the end, let alone gold coins, there was not a single hair. Just when the 3 elementary school students questioned Conan's reasoning, Conan smiled confidently with the note in his hand. It's a fish, a glowing fish. Then there was another popular reasoning. For the first time, the newly formed youth suicide group realized who the thigh of this team was. Yoshida Ryumi fell in love with Conan, so handsome. Tsubiraya Mitsuhiko regretted why he couldn't think of this. Only Koji Magenta kept his original intention, and his mind was full of thoughts about what to eat after getting the treasure. Then, the brainless trio who got the final reasoning finally couldn't help but jump out. After tying up several elementary school students in a few seconds, they began to follow the map. Conan, who didn't want to die in the hands of these robbers who didn't seem very smart, began to save himself. The gold coins were hung on the ceiling of the room, and the mechanism that put them down was on the wall. Conan and the 3 elementary school students tiptoed to the mechanism, waiting for the moment when the brainless group found the bag of gold coins falling in the air. Run. The rope was pulled, and the mechanism was triggered. 3 bags full of gold coins fell lightly from the ceiling. Wait. Lightly? Exclamation mark. At this time, not to mention Conan, even the brainless trio noticed something was wrong. One of the foreigners stepped forward to explore the bag, and after seeing it, he was furious. There are only a bunch of foam boards in the bag. Huh? All foam? The Japanese and the brainless trio glared at Conan and immediately raised his gun to kill Koji Magenta to show Conan how powerful he was. Polite Koji Magenta, you. At this moment, Toyama Tobi, who had been lying in ambush outside the door, finally made a heroic appearance. He knocked a foreigner unconscious with a flying knee, and then casually pulled another foreigner to block his chest. The suddenly frightened Japanese no-brain subconsciously aimed at Toyama Tobi and fired wildly. After completely killing his accomplice, there was no bullet in the gun. No-brain began to change bullets in a hurry, but his movements were not as fast as Toyama Tobi. Toyama Tobi, who rushed in front of him, started with a familiar set of silky small combos. Kick the crotch, hit the throat, and pierce the ears with both breasts. Finally, he grabbed the Japanese no-brain's head and smashed a walnut with his head. How it's done. Toyama Tobi threw the no-brain in his hand on the ground and looked at Conan, but 3 of the 4 members of the juvenile suicide group were kneeling on the ground and vomiting. Because the 4 of them were tied up with ropes, they looked like 3 big caterpillars when they vomited. What an unforgettable scene. Toyama Tobi was amazed. He had never seen such a scene in his previous life. People from small places are really ignorant. At least Conan didn't vomit. He stared at Toyama Tobi and suddenly understood. Those stolen maple leaf gold coins are with you, right? What maple leaf gold coins? I don't understand at all. Toyama Tobi shrugged. I just saw these 3 malicious men in black following a group of elementary school students. I was worried, so I followed them up to see. I called the police before going upstairs. Who would have thought that they would have guns in their hands? Speaking of which, although Conan was calm at the moment, his face didn't look much better. Although he had seen many bodies of Kudo Shinichi, it was the first time he witnessed a life withering in such a bloody way. Chapter 21 Conan's failure. You did it on purpose, didn't you? Conan stared at Toyama Tobi's eyes, trying to confirm whether Toyama Tobi was lying. In the face of Conan's questioning, Toyama Tobi shrugged. Who knows? Just as Toyama Tobi's voice fell, the sirens outside the building resounded through the sky, and a number of police cars rushed in, followed by a series of chaotic footsteps going upstairs. When the sirens sounded, the police cars arrived, and when the police cars arrived, the police came. Conan realized that it was very likely that the sound of the robbers shooting just now attracted the police, and he had a little idea in his heart. The police are coming. Aren't you going to run? Why should I run? Toyama Tobi asked Conan curiously, and then took out a folding knife from his body. Seeing Toyama Tobi holding the folding knife with a cold light getting closer and closer to him, Conan broke out in a cold sweat. Immediately, Conan looked at the 3 trembling teammates beside him, who were dragged into the water by him, or took the initiative to go into the water. I'm so sorry. I didn't expect that I would cause you to die with me after just meeting you for a short time. Conan felt full of apologies for these classmates who came to accept him into their small group on the first day of school. School life in Japan is very strange. If you are not popular and don't have your own small group in school, school life will be very difficult. In their perception, such behavior is not sociable, and being not sociable means being excluded. Sometimes exclusion is also equal to bullying. Not to mention the actions that wanted to strangle them later. The 3 elementary school students who approached Conan at the beginning. Putting aside Yoshida Ayumi's little thoughts of coveting male beauty, at least she is still very kind in her life. Conan, who has not been tricked yet, is full of apologies to his 3 companions at this moment, and watched Toyama Tobi walk in front of him. Sure, a flash of knife light passed by, and Conan subconsciously closed his eyes, but did not wait for the expected pain. What a fast knife. Conan opened his eyes without quite understanding the situation, but once again saw Toyama Tobi's face that looked like he deserved a beating. Ah, I'm not dead. Conan blinked, and then saw Toyama Tobi walk towards the 3 elementary school students, and cut the hemp ropes tied to them with a folding knife. After untying the 4 elementary school students, Toyama Tobi heard the sound of the police breaking into the door behind him. Toyama Tobi immediately put down the folding knife and raised his hands above his head. We are one of them, officer. Is Officer Sato here? Among the police rushing in at the door was the detective who had hit it off with Toyama Tobi at the last time he met at Kinoyoko's house. The detective immediately shouted, "It's Toyama, he is Toyama. He is one of us. Be careful not to hurt him by mistake." Sato Miwako also rushed to the front of the team. "Toyama, how are you? We heard that there was a gunfight here on the way here. Are you not injured?" Toyama Tobi was about to answer, and then he saw the robber who had fainted on the ground slowly wake up. The robber who woke up probably didn't realize the situation at the scene. He glared at Toyama Tobi and was ready to shoot. Then he turned around at Toyama Tobi's friendly reminder. The robber saw a police team led by a beautiful female police officer. Everyone in the team was equipped with a gun, and there were even mobile police officers holding explosion-proof shields. Well, I must be dazzled. How could so many police suddenly appear? Before the robber could rub his eyes, a group of male police officers rushed up and directly pinned down the man who posed a threat to Toyama Tobi, the flower of the Metropolitan Police Department. So terrifying. When Toyama Tobi found Sato coming in front of him, a lingering fear appeared on his face. The rapid change of expression made a group of expressionless actors exclaim that he was professional. I saw 3 headless men following the group of children. I thought they were child traffickers, but I felt something was wrong. After I followed them here, it was too late to notify you, so I thought I would go forward and subdue them first. As he said that, Toyama Tobi swallowed his saliva and pointed at the miserable robbers on the ground. Who would have thought that they actually had guns? It was only then that I realized that these guys might be members of the Italian robber group that Officer Sato mentioned. Officer Sato, I shouldn't be arrested, right? Sato Miwako comforted Toyama Tobi softly, saying that he was acting bravely and would not be arrested. On the contrary, the Metropolitan Police Department should thank Toyama Tobi for his contribution to Tokyo's public security. Just as Toyama Tobi was enjoying Sato Miwako's gentle comfort, a murderosaurus suddenly came from behind him. Toyama Tobi turned around and was stunned. The police officers who had been kind to him were now looking at him with gnashing teeth. Looking at their expressions, Toyama Tobi had only one thought. You are all the flowers of the Metropolitan Police Department, so why are you old men still discriminating against each other? Exclamation mark. Differential treatment, right? This must be differential treatment. Just when Toyama Tobi was about to quit, a very annoying voice suddenly came from the warehouse. Hey, why are there so many foam boards in these bags? Where are our treasures? Where are those maple leaf gold coins? Mr. Toyama, do you know where they were taken? The police in the room once again gave Conan a lot of courage. This behavior of pointing at a monk and calling him bald made Toyama Tobi secretly praise him. So reckless. He was obviously scared to death just now, but now he was revived with full blood. Conan probably will never learn the word cautious in his life. It makes sense that a high school student is at the age of being overly passionate, and he is also overly praised by the media. It is understandable that he would rather die than live in disgrace. Still, lack of education. Without waiting for Toyama Tobi to speak, Sato Miwako explained to Conan. This is indeed where Cabane hid the maple leaf gold coins, but someone had already got there before they arrived. However, these people seemed to have fought because of the uneven distribution of the spoils, causing the nearby neighbors to come out to watch the fun. After they left, someone picked up 2 fallen maple leaf gold coins on the ground. With the help of witnesses, the police have been searching the city for those who took the gold coins, and it seems that the gold coins will be recovered soon. What are the characteristics of those people? Conan asked Sato Miwako as soon as he realized that the script was wrong. Miwako Sato answered subconsciously, speaking of characteristics, it seems nothing. Then Sato noticed the black clothes of Toyama Tobi and thought of the black organization that Conan made up. If we really want to talk about characteristics, they should all wear black clothes like Toyama black clothes. Conan looked at Toyama Tobi in shock, and Toyama Tobi took advantage of the time when no one was paying attention and made a curtain call gesture to Conan. Little detective, you failed miserably again in this round. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 20 Tajin, Yuanshin, you are a bit too extreme. In line with the principle of finishing today's work today, Toyama Tobi followed Sato Miwako back to the Metropolitan Police Department to make today's record. Since crossing into the Conan world until now, Toyama Tobi has not defaulted on any record. This is really gratifying. Of course, the young detective team, who died halfway through the treasure hunt, also went with them. This incident should have been the first battle to make the name of the young detective team famous, but unfortunately, both Tsuburaya Mitsuhiko and Kojima Genta were embarrassed to mention this name in the elementary school group. There was no way. They witnessed the shooting scene and vomited a lot, and now they were all sour and smelly. Sato Miwako couldn't let this group of elementary school students stay at the scene to deepen their psychological trauma. Simply take them all back to the Metropolitan Police Department and call their parents to pick them up. Except Conan. The reason why Conan's parents were not called was not because he had no parents, but Toyama Tobi volunteered to send Conan back to the office in person. Although in Sato Miwako's opinion, Toyama Tobi also needs psychological treatment and counseling. Finally, after Toyama Tobi patted his chest and promised that he would take time to see a psychologist, Sato Miwako was kind enough to let him and Conan leave. The two of them were silent all the way until they walked downstairs of the office. Conan looked at Toyama Tobi deeply and prepared to go upstairs. By the way, Conan, I didn't give you a gift when we first met. I'll leave this for you as a souvenir. After Toyama Tobi threw the things in his hand to Conan, he waved and stopped a taxi to return to the Beaker Hotel. Toyama Tobi, who had completed Sato Miwako's task, obtained Sato Miwako's driving skills. Now everything is ready, except getting a good car. In his previous life, Toyama Tobi had a high mortgage, and a car was an unattainable existence for him. Buying a car means having to take on a car loan. Not only that, the monthly cost of using the car is an additional expense. This expense is at least much more expensive than taking public transportation. Now, Toyama Tobi can not only enjoy the future of owning a car, but even those luxury cars that were once out of reach are now like the ladies in KTV. They stand in line for Toyama Tobi to comment on. Which man can refuse such happiness? After Toyama Tobi left, Conan looked at the thing he had just thrown to him. At first glance, it was a Canadian maple leaf gold coin that was rubbed to a golden shine. Damn it. Conan was so angry that he trembled all over. Toyama Tobi threw this gold coin to him, which was equivalent to admitting in person that he had taken the gold coins in the warehouse. The gangs that Sato Miwako mentioned that divided the spoils unevenly were probably just a play directed and performed by Toyama Tobi in order to get rid of suspicion. It was so cold. For a detective who is obsessed with revealing all the truth, what could be more uncomfortable than being provoked by the criminals in person and being powerless? Looking at this glittering gold coin, Conan knew without looking that, even if the gold coin was given to the police, but it can only detect his own fingerprints. Toyama Tobi will never hand over such a big flaw to himself. Conan tightly grasped the gold coin and returned to the bedroom on the third floor of the office with gritted teeth. After saying hello to Xiaolan, he returned to his room in a sullen mood. Conan was sleepless again tonight. Conan was sleepless at night, and Toyama Tobi was also awake. The reason why Toyama Tobi didn't sleep was different from Conan. Although he was suddenly rich at present, with Toyama Tobi's understanding of Conan's plot, there are plenty of opportunities to make a fortune, so pure money is not enough to keep him awake at night. There is only one reason why Toyama Tobi didn't sleep. The night owl Jin took the initiative to call him today. I heard that you went to the Metropolitan Police Department again today. That's right. Toyama Tobi answered confidently. I gave the 3 members of the Italian robber gang to the police as gifts. I estimate that, if I give them a few more rounds, my relationship with those detectives will definitely have a qualitative leap. Toyama Tobi hinted wildly to Jin on the phone. Jin was speechless for a moment after hearing what Toyama Tobi said. For the sake of the maple leaf gold coins brought back by vodka, Jin decided not to bother with Toyama Tobi. Are the bandits from Italy the cabbages sold in the street market? Can they be had whenever they want? Not to mention a few more rounds. Jin couldn't find them even for 1 round. Unless he took a plane to Italy and caught a group of mafia to rob a bank there and then smuggled them back. Jin immediately changed the subject. There will be a mission in 2 days. You and Vodka will go with me to execute it. Okay, big brother, do you need me to prepare anything? No, the target of this mission is just a fool who attempts to profit from insider information. You will be responsible for sending her off after the transaction is over. Okay, then where do we start? I need to make some preparations in advance. Toyama Tobi's question did not alert Jin. After all, Toyama Tobi had paid him a lot of protection fees. Although Jin was cold-blooded, he was not to the point of turning his face and not recognizing people. In fact, letting Toyama Tobi solve the transaction object is also a manifestation of Jin's upgraded trust in Toyama Tobi. He is such a person. If you want to gain his trust, you need to withstand his screening. Through the natural trust upgrade, if you fail, you will be punished for multiple crimes, and the old and new accounts will be settled together. You can always add the crime to the point of being shot to death. The transaction location is on the Shinkansen. After the mission is completed, we will take advantage of the chaos to leave. Jin briefly explained the mission process to Toyama Tobi. After listening, Toyama Tobi immediately said, I understand, big brother. I will prepare the time bomb and remote control bomb. When the time comes, when we get off the train, we will directly blow up the Shinkansen with the train and the rails. Jin, who did you learn this terrorist style from? Exclamation mark. Either you want to rob a bank or blow up the Shinkansen. Toyama, you are a bit too extreme. Jin suddenly felt a pain in his head. What the organization needs now is to be low-key, and low-key. If Toyama Tobi really succeeds in getting things out, the entire Tokyo police, including the public security police, will go crazy. Facing Jin's reproach, Toyama Tobi felt it was ridiculous. No, this was your original plan on the Shinkansen. Weren't you going to use a bomb originally? I just used this plan to improve it a little bit. How could it be extreme? How could it be extreme? Exclamation mark. I, the chief killer of the black organization, am such a double standard man. Who among my family members would understand? This is simply too despicable. Although Toyama Tobi felt that Jin was too double standard, what could a worker do when facing such a leader? He could only choose to forgive him. So Toyama Tobi cut down on his plan. How about not placing bombs on the rails, but just giving the bombs to the transaction targets? This is your original plan. You can't say no. Toyama Tobi thought. No. Toyama Tobi? Chapter 23 Yuanshin's foster father even has his own way of flattering. This doesn't work. That doesn't work. What do you want me to do? Exclamation mark. Yuanshin Fei was furious in his heart, but his tone did not change at all. This doesn't work. It seems that the only way left is to poison the Shinkansen dining car. Yuanshin Fei said regretfully, as if he thought that poisoning was not elegant enough. After these two encounters with Yuanshin Fei, Jin finally understood what kind of person this subordinate who was picked up for free was. This guy is simply afraid that the world will not be in chaos. Jin realized that giving this kind of task to Yuanshin Fei was like throwing a rat into a granary. If Yuanshin Fei really lets go and makes trouble, this guy might even find someone to shoot a gun behind the Prime Minister. Jin tried to calm his excited mood, muttering in his heart, forget it, don't get angry, it's not worth it. Compared with those people in the organization, who only take money and do nothing all day, Yuanshin's performance is still good. Although his enthusiasm is a bit excessive, his mental state is also worrying. But at least he is a subordinate who is willing to share the burden for his superior. After some counseling, Jin calmed down a lot. He thought that the task of killing the target could not be given to Toyama Tobi. Forget it, let Vodka kill the target after the transaction is over. Anyway, he has taken your money, so he has to do something. Jin snorted coldly, but did not question the matter of taking money. After all, the 6,000 maple leaf gold coins that Toyama Tobi gave to Vodka went into Jin's pocket. Jin is loyal to the organization, but it does not mean that he is aloof from the world. He also has his own hobbies, and occasionally when he is not on a mission, he will find a place to relax. Let's not talk about anything else. How much does it cost to maintain the Porsche 356A that Vodka has been driving? It would cost a lot of money to repair a car accident, and it's not easy to buy spare parts for old cars. Okay, I understand. Big brother is wise. It doesn't matter if Jin doesn't let him blow up the train. Anyway, Toyama Tobi didn't intend to blow up the train. Although Toyama Tobi is a fun person, it doesn't mean he wants to become our ancestor. Toyama Tobi who wants to be an ancestor has to ask himself, how can he be qualified? Once this thing is done, Toyama Tobi will never be able to clear himself in the future. It doesn't matter whether it can be cleared or not, but once the black porcelain is solid, Toyama Tobi will not be able to work part-time on the red side. Not being able to work part-time means not getting rewards, and not getting rewards means Toyama Tobi can't continue to become stronger. If he can't become stronger, sooner or later he will be killed by Conan who keeps stacking buffs. Toyama Tobi came all the way here to play Conan, not to be played by Conan. Although Jin deprived Toyama Tobi of the right to perform tasks, he still required Toyama Tobi to be present on the day of the transaction. Although he didn't have to do any tasks, Toyama Tobi had to understand the business of his department. If the department's business volume was too large in the future, Jin could recruit Toyama Tobi's men. So in the next few days, Toyama Tobi got his first car in 2 lifetimes. The first car in a man's life means as much to a man as the first wife in ancient times. On the trading day, Toyama Tobi drove the newly renovated Aston Martin DB5 to the Beaker station. In the parking lot, Jin looked at the DB5 parked beside him, and a rare touch of praise appeared on his expressionless face. Aston Martin has a good taste. Vodka on the side was so envious when he heard Jin's praise of Toyama Tobi. Why didn't he think of it? Why didn't he think of it? It's not that Vodka couldn't afford this kind of classic car, but he never expected that Toyama Tobi could flatter his elder brother in this unconventional way. He is worthy of being Toyama's adoptive father. It's really terrifying. It is a difficult skill to recognize your own abilities and hold the right thigh in the workplace. Vodka happened to be the one who mastered this craft. so the carder with his own code name looked at Toyama Tobi with more eagerness. If Jin hadn't been here, Vodka might have run to the driver's seat to be Toyama Tobi's driver. Let's go, it's time for us to set off. Jin admired Toyama Tobi's TB5 for a while and took the lead to walk towards Beaker Station. Toyama Tobi followed and Vodka walked at the end. On the way, Toyama Tobi was very curious about the black briefcase in Jin's hand. In the original book, this briefcase contained a bomb that was enough to blow up a carriage, so what was in it now? Yuan Shenfei curiously asked the fickle Jin. Brother, are these really insider information about gold trading? Before Jin could answer, Vodka burst into laughter. How is it possible? If there is such a thing, we will definitely use it ourselves. How could we sell it? Vodka was full of disdain. He knew that he was not as smart as brother Jin, but he could figure out this reason. But there are actually people who think that the insider information about gold trading in their hands is true and spend a lot of money to buy it. This made Vodka, who has always been shrouded in the shadow of Jin, find the pleasure of occupying the high ground of IQ and looking down on others. Vodka was in a good mood and simply revealed the truth to Yuan Shenfei. There are some blank papers in it. This woman will open the box after we leave. By then, she will find that her dream of getting rich overnight and having her assets soar is like a bubble, which will burst with a poke. Vodka laughed wildly, and Yuan Shenfei was silent. To be honest, after Vodka's action, the originally high-end plan of blowing up the entire carriage suddenly became a fraud. This is a big loss of class. Just when Toyama Tobi was about to complain, he suddenly saw 3 figures getting on the train in front of the carriage. What's wrong? Jin noticed that Toyama Tobi was abnormal. I met an acquaintance. Toyama Tobi pointed to Jin. That's Maurika Goro, a detective. I've been getting close to him recently. He seems to be the detective with the physique of a famous detective, that Rum said. I wonder if I can take the opportunity to get a few cases. Well, Jin looked at Maurika Goro, who looked hungover, hadn't shaved his beard, and hadn't washed his face, and didn't know what to say for a while. He felt that the target chosen by Toyama Tobi was a bit hasty. Yuan Shenfei understood Jin's eyes and explained, it is this kind of confused detective that is easy to approach. Those famous detectives are very smart, and I will definitely be discovered if I approach them. But if this kind of confused detective can have the physique that attracts murders, wouldn't it be easier to control him at that time? Jin was stunned when he heard this, and suddenly felt that Yuan Shenfei said it makes sense. To be honest, this capable subordinate of his is really talented in finding new ways. Chapter 24, Distant Mountain Door, Interrupting Spellcasting. Since Conan's family was discovered, it was not appropriate for Toyama Tobi to continue to follow Jin. Toyama Tobi's reason was very legitimate. Brother, I won't go with you guys. I'll go over when we have a deal. If that foolish detective finds us together, I'm afraid he'll be alert. Jin didn't show any displeasure at Toyama Tobi's frank statement that he was afraid of being implicated by them. He also knew that he didn't look like a good person in his outfit. After all, Toyama Tobi was going to be an informant for the police, and it wouldn't be nice for him to hang out with him all day. Jin easily agreed to Toyama Tobi's idea of leaving the team and acting alone. If other undercovers who died under Jin's gun knew how Toyama Tobi was treated by Jin, they would probably crawl out of the ground in grief and anger. Different treatment, right? Jin, you are treating him differently, right? Toyama Tobi left first and successfully pedaled to the carriage where Maurika Goro and his group were. Maurika Goro was holding a small mirror and shaving with an electric razor on his seat. He was so drunk last night that he slept half the night in front of the office gate, so he didn't have time to trim his beard in the morning. But he had to attend his friend's wedding after getting off the train, so he could only hastily take care of himself on the Shinkansen. On the other side, Xiaolan just complained, as if nothing had happened. Conan was eating his lunchbox happily, with rice grains on his mouth. It seemed that after becoming smaller, Conan's ability to live had also deteriorated. Here, wipe your mouth. Thank you, Mr. Toyama. Conan took the tissue from Toyama Tobi and thanked him subconsciously. The next second he reacted. Wait, who handed him the tissue? Exclamation mark. Toyama Tobi, why is he here? Exclamation mark. Conan, why is he here? Exclamation mark. Toyama Tobi, why is he here? Exclamation mark. Conan, why is he here? Exclamation mark. Toyama Tobi, why is he here? Exclamation mark. Toyama Tobi, why is he here? Exclamation mark. Just when Conan was still confused, Toyama Tobi noticed that Conan had changed into new shoes. The classic red and white color scheme, with a knob on the upper. It was created by Dr. Agasa, the great inventor of Conan's world, the foot strength enhancing shoes, Zuligian. Seeing this pair of shoes, Toyama Tobi knew that from today on, he needed to be on guard against Conan's backstabbing. Perhaps Conan would be very restrained when dealing with ordinary people. But in Conan's eyes, Toyama Tobi was in the same group as the two men in black who knocked him out. As time goes by, Conan's resentment towards the organization will definitely grow. There is no guarantee that Conan will not force himself on Toyama Tobi. Nice shoes. Toyama Tobi nodded to Conan and sincerely praised Conan's shoes. When Toyama Tobi started following Conan anime in his previous life, among the props on Conan, Toyama Tobi's favorite was the solar skateboard and this pair of foot strength. Unfortunately, the world in his previous life was a place that talked about science instead of science, so until Toyama Tobi traveled through time, he had not seen the appearance of similar products. There were no solar skateboards, but there were many electric cars running on the streets. After greeting Conan, Toyama Tobi greeted the Maori father and daughter. Everyone took the same Shinkansen without any prior arrangement. Maori Kagoro and Maori Ran were also very happy. Conan could not feel the joy of the three people, he just felt it was noisy. So after finishing his lunchbox, Conan decided to walk around other carriages. As for the purpose of Toyama Tobi's visit, didn't he tell him when he was chatting with Maori Kagoro just now? He left Tokyo because of a friend's introduction. He is not a detective at all, but his friends still introduce him to commissions. Conan was very angry about what happened to Toyama Tobi. Obviously, he can only take some commissions from Maori Kagoro now. Oh, by the way, he can't take any commissions at all, because Maori Kagoro is a confused detective. On weekdays, basically no one comes to the office to issue commissions. Conan walked towards the connection between the carriages, while complaining about Toyama Tobi in his heart, and then Conan saw the most visually impactful scene, since he became smaller. Two men in black came face to face with him, and Conan happened to know these two men in black. They were the men in black who knocked on his door, and conducted illegal transactions in the playground. Conan, who was caught off guard by gin and vodka, was numb all over, and dared not move. Compared with Toyama Tobi, gin and vodka left Conan with a huge psychological shadow and a bigger paradise. At this moment, Conan felt a little like Yi Gong who loved dragons. When the real dragon appeared in front of Yi Gong behaved so badly. When gin and vodka appeared in front of Conan, Conan couldn't even say a word at this moment. Not to mention talking, even moving was difficult. In the end, it was vodka who rescued Conan. Vodka impatiently pushed Conan away and yelled, "Don't block the way, you little brat." It was this sentence that made Conan realize that the two men in black didn't seem to know that they were getting smaller. But that's not right, right? The smiling face of Toyama Tobi, like a smiling tiger, once again appeared in Conan's mind. If they were in the same group, why didn't Toyama Tobi report his abnormality to the two men in black? Conan made a quick decision at this moment. He would have plenty of time to explore Toyama Tobi in the future. But if he missed this opportunity, he would never know when he would meet him again. So after confirming the seats of gin and vodka, Conan quietly followed them when they left. After noticing that Conan seemed to be about to start playing tricks, Maolalin apologized to Toyama Tobi and hurriedly chased after him. After a while, Conan was dragged back dejectedly. Conan, who had no gains, certainly would not give up. So Dr. Agasa's new invention, the eavesdropping glasses, made a brilliant appearance. Conan put the eavesdropping device in the gum and stuck it under Jin's seat. Unfortunately, it was discovered by Maolalin again. Fortunately, Xiaolin just wrapped the gum in a package and threw it into the trash can of the seat. Conan was forcibly brought back, and he seemed to be in a daze sitting in his seat. But Toyama Tobi knew that Conan should be listening attentively to the conversation between Jin and the others at this moment. Not long after, Jin and Vodka returned to their seats, and Vodka said Big Brother to kick off Conan's first contact with the organization's intelligence. Of course, that was the original plot, and now Toyama Tobi was sitting next to Conan. How could it be so easy for Conan to get the code names of Jin and Vodka? Just as Conan was listening more and more attentively, the glasses on his face were suddenly taken away by Toyama Tobi. "You have new glasses, Conan." Toyama Tobi put the glasses on his nose with a smile and asked Conan, "Do you think I look more gentle when I wear your glasses?" Chapter 25. What makes you so disrespectful to me? You are not polite. Give me my glasses. The key point is coming soon. Conan glared at Toyama Tobi, and just then, the voices of Gin calling vodka and vodka calling Gin big brother came from the glasses. "Good fellow, when it comes to self-exposure, it depends on you too." Listening to the voices coming from the glasses, Toyama Tobi smiled at Conan inexplicably, and nodded at the legs of the glasses. "Really nice glasses. I should be more careful in the future, right, Conan?" Seeing that he couldn't snatch the glasses back from Toyama Tobi with just his eyes, Conan didn't even have time to distinguish the deep meaning of Toyama Tobi's words. He immediately started to throw a tantrum and pointed at Toyama Tobi crying and saying, "I want glasses. I want glasses. Give my glasses back to me." Based on Conan's past experience, if he showed such resistance, Xiaolan would definitely take action to get her glasses back. After all, this time it was not his own mischief, but he wanted to get back something that originally belonged to him. Unfortunately, Conan miscalculated this time. Conan's crying attracted a heavy punch from Maori Kagoro, and soon a big steaming bump appeared on Conan's head. The imagined messenger of justice, Xiaolan, did not seek justice for him, and even Xiaolan did not respond, even after he cried for so long. And Toyama Tobi saw it clearly, and when he took off Conan's glasses, the sealed appearance was unlocked. Xiaolan immediately noticed the face that was exactly the same as Kudo Shinichi's when he was a child. How could they be so similar? Exclamation mark. Conan's true appearance immediately struck Xiaolan's heart. Kudo Shinichi had not been heard from since they separated at Dorobiga Paradise. Xiaolan thought again that she met Conan at Shinichi's house. In an instant, a white lightning flashed through Xiaolan's mind. Dr. Agasa said that Conan was his relative, so why did Conan look so much like Shinichi without his glasses? Since they were relatives of the doctor, why did the two of them appear in Shinichi's house that night? Exclamation mark. Xiaolan had a vague guess in her heart, but she was not sure, because that guess was too shocking. Conan, who had been crying for a long time without getting any response, finally opened his eyes that he had covered and howled without tears, and then looked into Xiaolan's eyes. Maori Ran's complicated eyes made Conan realize that he had obviously attracted Xiaolan's attention without his glasses. Not only Maori Ran's attention, Conan's crying even made Gin and Vodka look back at the same time. Then they saw Toyama Tobi, who stole the glasses of other people's children. How to say it, after Gin discovered Toyama Tobi's unknown hobby, he felt a little speechless. Although our black organization is a criminal group, the members of the organization are not good people. He is really the only one who can do what Toyama Tobi is. Gin really believed that Toyama Tobi was not an undercover agent or spy. Which spy would let himself go so much when undercover? This Toyama Tobi is really not a thing. Unlike Gin, Vodka's idea is much simpler. So Toyama's foster father likes glasses? I have to give him a pair of glasses sometime. This kid's glasses don't look that good either. What is this called? This is called being righteous, and not being a butcher. Vodka is really being righteous. However, Conan's shouting also stopped Gin and Vodka from talking. After seeing that his goal was achieved, Toyama Tobi returned the glasses to Conan, and at the same time, gave him a gloating look. Kid, you don't know Kato Kid yet, and you don't even know Hattori Hiji. Your parents are in the United States, and may not know that you have become smaller. Who can help you fool Xiaolan now? Conan, who was attacked from both sides, should not be in a panic at this time. Although he was eager to know the details of the man in black, there was obviously a more urgent situation to face now, that is Xiaolan, whose eyes had changed from complicated to suspicious. Conan made a prompt decision and chose to fool Xiaolan first. Without any new ideas, Conan, who was at his wit's end, could only lose his moral integrity again. He turned himself into a real child who made people worry. He threw tantrums, acted like a spoiled child, and acted cute. Even Toyama Tobi couldn't stand it and was ready to get up and leave. It must be said that Conan was Mal Lilan's childhood sweetheart, and Xiaolan was worthy of being Kudo Shinichi's childhood sweetheart. The two knew each other too well. Conan took advantage of this and did something that Kudo Shinichi would never do on weekdays, whether it was high school, junior high school, or elementary school. Xiaolan had never seen such a level of spoiled child, and she dared not even think about it. After all, Kudo Shinichi had been a cool guy since he was a child. So Mal Lilan's attitude changed from suspicion to half-belief. It was finally perfunctory. After Xiaolan relaxed her control over Conan, Conan finally ran down from his seat. He knew that Xiaolan would still have doubts about him at this moment, but he could only do this much at most. Just when Conan was about to turn back to look for gin and vodka, he found that the two men in black had disappeared. Instead, Toyama Tobi, who was sitting in that position and playing with the bug, nodded and smiled at him. "Where are they?" Conan ran over to Toyama Tobi and asked. "They left and got off at Nagoya Station." Toyama Tobi did not hide anything and even told Conan where gin and vodka got off. Anyway, the Shinkansen has left Nagoya Station now. Even if Conan wants to go back, he can't make the Shinkansen turn around. "You are really in the same group." "Hey, what are you talking about?" Toyama Tobi laughed immediately. "When did I say we are not in the same group? What the hell are you guys going to do?" Conan stared at Toyama Tobi as if the man in front of him was guilty of a heinous crime. Toyama Tobi smiled so hard that he squinted his eyes and stared at Conan and said, "Kid, what gives you the confidence to disrespect me like this? Since you know my identity, you should know our style of doing things. The reason I haven't killed you until now is because you can bring me enough fun, so I'm willing to let you go. But this is not a reason for you to disrespect me." Toyama Tobi threw the bug in his hand to Conan. "You have to think clearly, kid. If you are discovered by other people in the organization now, you may not die. But Maori Kagoro and Maori Ran will definitely die because of you. Who asked them to take in you? Who should have died? Am I right? The savior of the Japanese police, the Sherlock Holmes of the Heisei era, the high school detective. Kudo Shinichi." End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.